Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How's this sound? Good?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
Adam can tell.
My mic sound nice.
Yeah,
Check
we
one,
probably
check two.
should test first.
We're all good. Well, this is what, episode 45.
Wow, dude.
Awesome, guys.
45.
When did
Yeah.
you start? What was the first one?
Last November. Last November.
Yeah.
2018?
18, I believe.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
holy
been a
fuck.
while.
So what's the frequency of your episodes then? Because you're gaining on me, and I'm like 2.5 years now.
Before we were doing them pretty regularly,
Yeah, it was
like once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But now we're just slowing down.
Is
Yeah.
it just when you can get them out, I guess, now?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we realized, because we used to do live every Tuesday, and then we kind of realized that, well, it's hard. Like, not everybody's available every Tuesday
Yeah.
at 6 or 7, right
Yeah.
after work.
And that many
So,
bodies, like 4 guys, like,
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah, and you don't really want to exhaust yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing, man. And I found, I mean, even just talking to Vargas, about how things are going with the podcast, like once a week would kill me, man.
Yeah.
I'd go insane.
Yeah, we did a few months, and I slowly started to realize I don't have that much to talk about.
Shit, man. Who does?
See, I do,
Yeah.
but nobody wants to fucking hear it. So
We're just talking to buds. We don't have the pull to get big names, right?
Yeah.
And even those guys get interviewed all the time. So it's a interesting little niche to try to keep something like this up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
45, man, that's great. Fucking A.
yeah, man.
I'd like to expand into other territories.
Yeah,
Get some
like talking
comedians on.
Yeah, or
Sure.
just some everyday folk.
Everyday Joes.
There's somebody that you were talking about that you work with that
Yeah.
you really want to get on.
Yeah, she reminds me a lot of Joey Diaz. But I don't know how to approach this lady. She's like 55 years old.
She might be just down, though,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she might be.
She might be like a big podcast fan.
Yeah.
I actually
Does
listen
she
to you.
sound like Joey Diaz?
No, but
She
like
look like Joey Diaz.
yeah,
All right,
kind of,
you
actually. It's just the racist shit that comes out of her.
Oh my god.
Old racist people.
Yeah,
Well, that'd be great for a podcast,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I said this
Wouldn't shut
earlier
you down
too,
at all.
but thanks for asking me to come back on.
No problem.
I'm 100% dad mode, so I'm so removed from like anything kind of cool. So like I don't feel relevant enough to come on the show. It's cool that you guys asked me to come on. So
Well,
thanks.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for
so
having
much, guys.
Why have you started slowing down on your podcasting?
Life, man, and got another job, and
Yeah.
man, I just realized I only have so much time, and I don't want to put out a bullshit product. So it was getting to that point, like I'm basically, some of the episodes just calling someone and just talking shit with zero prep,
Yeah.
and I can pull that off, but when I was being honest, it's like this just isn't caliber enough for me, and I just didn't want to release shit. So it was a big combination of all that stuff. I haven't released an episode since September.
Holy shit!
Yeah, Sabs went on tour in October, and my last guest was Josh Lagaya. That
Oh
was
wow.
in September. So
Damn.
it's been a while, man.
Yeah.
And that's like, I'm surprised they asked me to come. I'm like, I'm out the game, kind of.
But it's not like you're not being productive, right? I mean, Sabs is one of the greatest fucking bands on the planet, man. So
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
the fact that you're doing stuff with them,
Well, it's just
I
my
that's awesome. That's all the reason to have you out. Well, I'm talking like it's my show.
just time. Like I have my kid's 5. I have 2 part-time jobs, and it's like a hierarchy of what's important to me, right? Like for sure, being creative is important, and I have bands to do that in. But now it's like my health is becoming a big priority, where like I have to, like, I'm making sure I go to the gym and make sure I get sleep.
Got to keep in check for the kid, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's 100%. So I run out of time, and the little time I have left, it's like I could still do it. I could still do it every week, but it would, I don't know. I don't want to
get
waste
exhausted.
anyone's time either. But I had this guy I met from Philly. He's in a band called
Oh yeah,
I
that's a
can't
good one.
remember.
Yeah. I love that band.
Yeah, that's the band name. That's how you describe it.
Silence.
Fuck me. But he would have been super great. Like, he's a monster drummer, and they just released a new record, and
They're from Philly, you said?
yeah,
How'd you find out about them?
choking victim.
Really?
Yeah, we played with
Holy
them.
shit.
I'm pretty sure. I could look it up.
So you know about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah,
do you guys?
I'm pretty sure that's who it was. Choking victim. Yeah, my brain is just mush.
So when reaching out to people for like out of the country, do you have like a set amount of people, or is it that guy specifically piquing your interest.
Yeah, well, man, because I had done 288 episodes, and that's like pulling through a big Rolodex of friends and people I met, and so he was just like a new friend I met, right? Because we just played the show, but I didn't want to waste his time, right? To be like, hey, come on my podcast, but I do zero prep, no, it's like he's a grown ass dude. I'm sure he has better things to do than talk to me. Like maybe I could do a lot more with it, but I'm a little bit self-deprecating, where it's like, who wants to talk to me on my stupid show? So it just built up to me just kind of slowing down and stopping.
Do you think the longer you stay away from it, the less likely you're gonna go back?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. But even in this like 20 minutes of kicking it here, I'm like, oh fuck, now I want to do it again.
Things are flowing through and stuff like that.
So I don't know. Who knows? You guys are just taking over, so fuck it.
I don't know
about that. I don't know about that. But yeah, I feel like what you pointed out a little while back about kind of being a little doubtful, just because like he's like people want to listen to me. I feel like any sort of like creative job, like whether it's a podcast or being in a band, that always it kind of has to be there, so you can kind of go through that process and then realize at the end you're like, oh wait, that's why I'm doing this, for like it's the whole thing. It's the whole like the ups and the downs and everything. Because if you're just full of yourself all the time, then no one would be telling you that you're shit.
Yeah,
not even yourself. So
I think you got to kind of make your whatever it is you're doing about something other than you as well, right? Like, because I feel like a twat all the time, all the time, and I can definitely relate. I'm amazed you guys asked me to be here. I'm this geezer, dude that used to play in bands that people gave a shit about, and even then, like, kinda, but if you make it about something more than yourself, like you make it about like an opportunity to, be a springboard for an up and coming artist, or stuff like that. Try to sort of enrich your community.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I think it's a little easier to kind of go out there with your cock and balls hanging out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you think when I think about being a platform for like local artists and stuff like that, I almost feel like that'd be easier to keep excited about, because like if you're a promoter throwing shows, it's like you're helping the scene. You know what I mean? Helping it stay alive and thrive. And a podcast, like a local kind of homey podcast. Like I feel like yours is like kind of Guelph centric,
pretty much, yeah.
Which is great because it's kind of like not real time, like you can see what's happening as far as like the bands you're pushing becoming bigger or anything like that. But when I think about mine, it's like it's not niche, like it's just like it's almost too broad, because I'm talking to tons of people from all over the place, and the idea is why you do it, and hopefully inspire other people. But even that, it's like it just comes down to like, does anyone care? Why am I doing this?
I don't know, dude. Like your quality of guests is unreal. Like you had my favorite metalcore vocalist of all time on, Mike Olander, and
it's just
fuck. Like how did you get that interview?
I think I just emailed him.
Where's Mike Olander from?
Burnt by the Sun, River Black.
Yeah, he's like
oh, dude,
now I'm out
of
the loop. Jesus,
check it out. Well, I mean, this is like old guy scene kid band. It's like.
They're a sick band.
We get in your time machine to check them
out. I don't know if you guys can play stuff on this show or no. Does it get pulled?
Yeah. We're not monetized.
Yeah, we're not monetized.
Well, if at some point you could play some Burn by the Sun or something, it's cool.
Yes.
What specific song?
All of them.
I
don't know. Forlaney's a good jump off point.
One, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
But do you guys like, in doing this, like, I'm like content now as a dad, and like, music used to be so everything for me, where it's not anymore. Like
it still is, yeah.
I
still feel like that way.
Do you like? It's a question of like, why are you doing it? Because for me, like now, I just like the process. I love to sit and just write ideas and come up with shit. I'm not really interested in the touring or even the accolades that might come with it. Do you guys think about like why you're doing it?
I kind of love the reward that comes with it. It's like once we finally get something recorded and released,
what's the reward for you, the finished product or the response?
A little bit of both.
It's a combination. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
For me it's like it's the process, definitely. Like the whole process, just like knowing that it's coming is like, and just trying to get closer and closer is it becomes addicting almost. And I think it's because none of us have really had any like touring experience, so that's still like the chase that we have. So
like the chase to tour,
yeah,
like
the chase to tour, and
process
then
of it all?
enjoy it, like have that honeymoon phase of like, you know, just being with your friends and like going to these different cities, meeting people who are into your music. Like, you know,
Sorry,
I've heard
that chair
enough.
doesn't swivel.
That's okay.
I've heard enough, you know, stories of bands, you know, that get sick of touring. You hear it in songs and, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And I
That
do.
is hard to believe. for
Well,
me.
I think I know what
is
that
weird.
is, right? It's because like when you know, like have a relationship or have a family, or even, you know, just missing your family at home, it's that whole like being detached from something you've like grown with for so long, right? Like you've lived in the city all your life, and then to imagine just being away from it, all that stuff can kind of get draining, especially when it consumes so much of your life. For me, this consumes so much of my life. Literally being in this room consumes so much of my life. So
Sick room, dude.
well thanks.
Except
Yeah,
there's no
it's
fucking windows.
yeah.
It's a soul sucking room.
Get a
You
skylight,
don't know
just-
it, but your soul's getting sucked out.
Lots
of
of
you
hot,
day by
hot
day.
farts, man.
Do you think if you would you still do a podcast if you knew no one was listening, and would you still release music if no one would hear it?
I think we are.
I think we're doing that right now. I think we're doing that right now. But seriously, no, but like,
Boom.
but
It's a
but-
real question I ask myself. I'm like, would I still do it if I knew no one was listening?
Well, here's the thing. It's like looking at, you know, when we release like these podcasts like on YouTube and, you know, through these, you know, like we use Simplecast to get our podcasts on all these platforms. You can see the stats and you can see the data. So, you know, when the numbers aren't anywhere near like what you're thinking, even on like a growth scale, that kind of stops becoming, you kind of like stop, for me personally, it like stops thinking, I stop thinking about that. And it's kind of just more of the process and just like, all right, let's do it, because I don't know what's going to happen when I'm 100 episodes in, you know, just because at 40 we got like some pretty cool guests and we've had a lot of like things happen, you know, like different like artists we never expected to get on. Like, for example, like Josh Lagai is like someone that we only recently started being acquainted with, whereas before, you know, it was like, holy shit, that guy is like in the top, you know, metal band in the scene around here. And so those accolades are like cool to have, but would I do this if no one was listening? I think I just kind of have that as an expectation. So everything above that is good.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Sorry, what are you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, a podcast. Like, I think I would play music if nobody was listening, but a podcast would kind of defeat the entire purpose, right? Like,
To do one with no one listening? Yeah, it would be odd.
Like, if the
Music
idea is like, you know, getting some ideas out and featuring, you know, an artist and all that.
You know what's weird? I feel like I can see my stats, but the feeling is still this weird. It's something I need to work on, I guess, but it's like nobody's listening to this. Although I see the numbers, it's like, no, people are listening to this. And I hear people
Okay.
like, yeah, like, what's up with the show? But
Maybe just doubt is something that you face a lot
I
more
don't
than
know. Maybe. And you know, I think, like, let's say I get 10 downloads a month, let's just say. And a show blows up, and then it becomes like a million downloads. But then the million would become your like new norm, right?
Exactly.
So then
yeah.
what, right? I think of that with when it comes to music, because I did the touring, I did the releasing, I've done cool shit, and it's kind of like I saw the top of the mountain, and then it's like a question of like, shit, like all the honeymoon stages are done.
I think
Like-
that's pretty universal though. That feeling of like you see the top of the mountain and you're like, well, what else? It's like, think about when you're even, I can't even imagine how it is for like artists that, you know, are on some unspeakable level that we've admired and our parents have admired, and those people, you know, their first album comes out, goes #1, platinum.
So then have you really seen the top of the mountain?
And then yeah, they see the top of the mountain, but they're like, they think there's more, right? Because it's like, well, what's better than, you know, having, you know, like people remembering me for having that one best album, having 2 good albums, and having 3, and then having 4, and then it's just the chase of like, how long can I stay on top? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like artists and creators of any sort who kind of like do reach success, that's always that kind of like thing in the back of their mind, is like, how long can I stay on top of this? Because as soon as things start to go down, that's when all the anxiety hits, especially when there's millions of people like on watch, you know?
Well, and I think even at that point, like, so many people are relying on you to succeed for a paycheck, right? I spoke with John Harvey. He's the singer of Monster Truck, and they're like a kind of big rock radio
they're
band.
huge. Yeah.
And he just highlighted that, like, you know, you have the buzz and you come up and you win a Juno or whatever, but then there's like a team behind you, and it's like, okay, we need another hit song. You guys like
Yeah.
this is now a business.
Like
and
I'm
I'd
trying to keep my
almost,
lights on.
yeah, I'd almost hate to get to that point to like have your music be so important.
It's like
to
there's a workforce behind it.
Yeah.
There's a payroll behind it.
yeah, I always thought I'd be like really upset with the position I'm in now, but like I've never been happier to like be a part of like music and have the ability to do it, because now there's no pressure. Now I can just like, because it was like I want to push hard and reach all these sort of things and become this sort of like respected band, but now it's just like really having a kid changes so much, obviously, as you know, everyone's story is different, but yeah, now I just want to just release cool shit, and there's like a piece in that, because if anyone hears it, cool, but if not, like, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Our music, it does matter, but
I think with music,
I don't know.
Kind of
Yeah,
does,
I'm
you know,
jaded
like,
about it. Sorry,
I don't know, like, and throughout your entire career, Vargas, like you've always put out art. You've never been like a product guy, you know. Here's this, you know, refined fucking album that has the cover art that you're supposed to have, you know, in this modern day or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you've always been that dude, right? So, I mean, it's cool, like as a Vargas fan, to kind of just to know that you're still kind of doing what you set out to do.
Yeah.
Well, we all hope, I think, when we're like 50, that we can still be excited to put out a podcast. And
Exactly.
I have a friend who's, I feel like, going through a midlife crisis. You know, he's pushing 40, but doesn't have an outlet and doesn't, like, he just kind of went color by the numbers life, house, mortgage and stuff. And I think he's going crazy because
it kind of hits you.
Yeah,
I think it hits you at one point, because when you're doing it your life, like, it doesn't feel like you're crazy because it's the chase, right? You haven't got there, but then when you get there, you're at the top of the mountain. And when the top of the mountain is, there's nothing to see at the bottom. Well, maybe there is some things, but you know, when that was all you kind of reached for, because like, if it was just to, you know, graduate and get the job, then like that's it. Like where
he peaked early almost.
But when you say top of the mountain, do you mean like your career trajectory, or do you mean like
who, me? Sorry?
Or just everyone, like, or do you just mean like, you know, skill set, or
it's like you basically
the challenge of accomplishing something musically, or
I think that top of the mountain thing, like I'm personally saying, is about whatever you're seeing as like the end goal for your life. It's like the top of the mountain is like you're at that end goal, and now you can see like everything. And if you know your mind was so closed off to just trying to get that one thing done, you're only going to see this like narrow path, which was the place that you climbed up. You don't get to see the whole, you know, the whole scape of things. So maybe that's why, you know, you're in a happy place, because you never really saw that narrow path.
Yeah, I wonder, man. I think it's just, I really think it's in the experience and having done shit. Because for you guys, like, I've done Europe a couple times, right? And that was like a bucket list thing. And it's like,
that's amazing. Like I've always wanted to do that.
And you guys will, I'm sure, or can. It's, you know, it's just, there's all these like my top of the mountain was shit like that, like release a press CD, right? And then like release a vinyl, and then like do a split and open up for a cool band, or do this tour or that tour. And then for sure Europe was like top of the list. And then past that, it's like, fuck, I'm not in revocation and I'm not making this my full-time gig. So kind of like, shit, I'm here. Like I've reached all these things. Now what?
But don't you find that that is the what? Is like, oh, I'm going to start a podcast now, or, you know, even something like seemingly benign, like, oh, I'm going to get into gardening this summer, you know, like, I think that's what people do, because I don't necessarily see it as like a top of the mountain. And maybe I'm not on the same wavelength as you guys are on this topic, but I just think like there is no top of the mountain. The ceiling's always going to keep going up. It's, you know, like you work your ass off on this double kick fill, and you're like, fuck, I'm never going to get this, but this is the top of the mountain for me, right? This is the ceiling. And then you get to it and you're like, cool, that's awesome, but I'm bored as shit. Like, you know, now I want to do the next double kick fill, you know?
I think that's what's
or now I want to play guitar, or fucking sing in a band, or start a podcast, or whatever the case may be.
That's a good way of looking at it. Like just seeing that when you get to a certain point, there's always more. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, like I always try to kind of live by a certain rule where it's like when things get too comfortable, it's time to fuck it up. You know, like, so you're always kind of perpetually uncomfortable. But you know, once things kind of get easier, you've learned a new skill set, you know, and now it's time to introduce something new.
I think that's what's great about music too, is that it's never like, you might have those top of the mountains bucket list goals things, but past that, like, you're always going to be able to write a better song. Like the idea of writing or creating, like, it's endless. Like,
Yeah.
it's unattainable to become the best musician, because you're going to die. So like, you're only going to get as good as long as you keep at it. And
And that's subjective too, right?
Yeah.
But that's such a great feeling too, to just like, I'll never be done. Like, yeah, you'll learn that cool double kick thing, but it's like, okay, now I have to learn it the other foot, or just constantly releasing better music and pushing yourself to do that is like a lifelong thing. So there's like, again, to my buddy, he doesn't have like that sort of outlet, and I feel pretty comfortable. I'm like, I'm doing this normal life shit, but I'll just continue to try to release cool music and push myself that way. And that way, like, the mountain's never reached. It's just, I'm forever going to be climbing.
Yeah.
Which is great. The whole process is the best part. I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of funny that's, you know, your buddy who, you know, kind of painted by numbers, that's sort of seen as the comfortable life, or the balanced life at least. And it just seems so fucking unbalanced, you know? I think, like, people that have that outlet, there's your balance, you know, when you can scream into a microphone for, you know, 2 hours a week, or, you know, whatever, do something like this. To me, that seems way healthier than, like, the, you know, I got a Lexus and a white picket fence.
Yeah,
and,
keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly, right?
How many, like, times have you guys been in, like, an uncomfortable situation? I think that's a really good point about becoming uncomfortable, because you work and you have your schedules and stuff, and there's a routine, and then it becomes safe and comfortable, and we don't even get that many opportunities to go into an uncomfortable situation. But you know, with music, you could, like, maybe try a different avenue of styles, or like you know, homie plays guitar and sings, and you do all that, so at some point you had to push yourself to be in these different comfort zones. But you guys, like, when was the last time you were in, like, oh, this is super uncomfortable?
Probably when I moved to BC.
Yeah.
That was probably the most life-altering thing.
Was it the second you, like, you know, stepped foot into your new home, you're like,
Dude,
shit.
The moment I left the car at the airport, I'm like, this is fucked.
Oh, really? How do you think it changed? Like,
I don't know. Just
that's so uncomfortable to move to a fucking other country or other city.
I don't know. Just having to leave everything behind and try and go search for something else in a totally different province by myself. It was, I don't know.
That's some growth, some personal growth.
Did you find what you were looking for?
I think I found it once I came back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's it. Really interesting, because that's when we started.
Yeah.
What a nice moment.
This whole time I was just looking for you.
Aw,
Jeez,
that's wholesome as hell. Thanks, man.
Well, yeah, but I think that's good to throw yourself in when you can, and I don't know.
Yeah, but it's terrifying. It's a hard thing to fucking do.
Big time, man.
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't know. I do a lot of production with, like, and working with other bands and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like that way in little bursts, because you kind of see the band dynamics, and when you know there's, like, something that is like an internal conflict that you can tell has probably been going on for some time, it's hard to crack. And then sometimes it comes to the music, and, you know, giving critiques and stuff like that might not be as easy to whittle down. So those uncomfortable moments, it's like, oh, I kind of know that this is, like, a little bit deeper, and I'm not at a position where I can just, I feel personally like maybe I could, but you know, we don't know each other that well. They don't respect me enough that I can, you know, just kind of be like, you know, just kind of figure out these, like, internal conflicts. Say, like, you know, for example, like, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, for example. Everyone's, you know, trying to do something. Maybe I'll try to be like, hey, maybe this one person just needs to kind of take direction in this part. And if everyone's like, well, no, and then you kind of like, well, why not?
You're probably in that position to be uncomfortable a lot when you're working with new musicians in a whole new band, because they hold it so close to their heart, like, this is our shit, and, like, we're trusting you to get it, and then you have to be in those sort of shoes. It's almost like for some reason it makes me think of being a bouncer at a bar, where you're just like the security, you know what I mean? They're trusting you to keep shit tight and safe, and you have to be comfortable to be like, no, like that part sucks, which is I don't know if you want to get to that point or not, to be that
I do
confident enough of a
I
producer.
do, but I feel like a part of that is like it's like a you have to earn that kind of respect, and I feel like maybe part of that is just kind of just saying it, and they're like, whoa, no one's ever told me that something I wrote sucks. Maybe I need to pay attention a little bit more
in a nicer way.
And to say it in a nice way, it's more like, hey, instead of this, try that.
Yeah.
Can we do that again, but just don't blow
Just totally
ass
differently.
Is that cool?
This is where you're at, sucking. You need to be up here.
Yeah.
Break his heart.
You're here. I need you to be here.
You worked, we might have talked about those, but you worked with Blurton.
Yeah.
Ian Blurton. You guys know that producer guy
No.
from Toronto? He is in Come On. What are his other credentials? He was in
Change of Heart.
Change of Heart.
Okay.
He produced Cursed. Produced a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's like
Week's
a,
Ends.
Is this old timer music again?
Cursed?
Yeah.
yeah, Cursed is old timer music. Have you guys heard of Cursed or no?
hilarious.
No.
Man,
No.
Cursed. We should play some Cursed.
Yeah, dude.
What
What was the
I
first
don't know
band
how
we
you-
were supposed to play?
Yeah. We'll
They're
make
there.
a playlist.
Burnt by the Sun.
Spotify playlist after this.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should write these down. Huh?
Yeah.
But,
Adam's got him.
He's
Keep up.
he's a producer that people respect and that is kind of revered, and you got to work with him, and like, but I have two versions of stories with that guy where he was a hard ass with some people that I know, and on the side, I think it was pretty enjoyable with you. Not that
It was,
being a
but
hard
we
ass
also like. I like a hard ass producer. You know, I
Mhm.
like somebody to say like, "Dude, that fucking
Stop.
sucked.
Just
man.
stop.
Like, do that again."
But what about creatively? Like, what about there's a part that you put to the source and he's like, don't, like, we shouldn't have that part in the song.
He pushed us a ton, but he did it in sort of a proactive way. So he never really said like,
We
"This
gotta-
shouldn't be here." He would just say, "Hey, let's try this." Or like one day
Okay.
he said like, "All right, I'm gonna go smoke a joint, and when I come back, like I'm hitting record, and you're playing something you've never played before."
Oh, okay, cool. So he
Um,
like tries to challenge you guys a bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that ended up
awesome.
on the album too.
Which is that? Like-
it's called The Aftermath. It was just like a little segue
Huh.
song.
So he left for a joint, came back, and then you guys tracked that live off the floor, right?
We did the whole thing. Well, for the most part, live off the floor.
So
yeah.
was that track like literally like pulling riffs out of your ass in the studio?
Yes.
Wow.
There's
that's
no,
fucking
there's
crazy.
not much
Yeah.
to it, but at the same time, you know.
Can we hear it? Can we hear that now? I'd love to hear that right now.
What's the song
It's
called?
called The Aftermath. It was on a Rise and Ruins, Night Storms, Hailfire.
Okay.
album.
That was the last one.
Yeah, that was our big like middle finger. We know we're gonna break up soon, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Was that your moment of uncomfortableness?
No, we were pretty comfortable. The label hated it.
Yeah.
Was that the moment of uncomfortableness, or did you feel like when the label always kind of had a critique, you're like, that's just the label.
No, the label, we knew what they wanted. They wanted us to be Canadian on Earth.
Okay.
And we just got, not that we ever were, because that band's incredible, but we just got tired of doing this style that we had done for like the better part of a decade. And we were just, you grow as a musician, and we were like, if we're going to be jamming like 3 times a week, like even between legs of tours and like betting it all on black, like we're going to do what we want to do. And we're going to work with Blurton because that guy's like one of our heroes,
That's awesome.
But,
So
yeah.
did you ever feel like there was any time in the studio where the producer might have made a call and like, that was something you guys maybe talked about like outside of the studio, like, I don't know.
No,
I don't know if
for
you- I don't know
for
how I felt
me,
about that
no.
one
Like
part.
just because Blurton, we would follow that guy anywhere. That's why we hired him. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
we really were comfortable giving him all of it and just letting him do what he wanted to.
I would think, yeah, like if you're hired, like let's say some dudes are hiring you, it would be for a reason, right? Not just a pull of the hat thing. Like they trust your previous body of work, and if you were to say like, I think this, I think it'd be like, well, we're here, we picked this guy, so we're definitely gonna give some credence to what he's
Definitely.
suggesting.
Yeah.
Sabs on the last Sabs record, the guy who mixed it, Scott Evans, he plays in this band called Kowloon Wild City from San Fran, I think. But he had a few suggestions that were just like almost like, thank you for giving us suggestions, like these little gems.
Yeah.
Like, for sure, it sounds
Yeah.
a great idea.
Dude, that album's so well produced too, man.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so happy with how that turned out.
How'd you guys get in contact with him to produce it?
Just fans of his music, and then just an email, right? Because he's a like an engineer,
It's
so
all about the ask, man.
yeah, it was
It's
just
all
it.
about the ask.
He's for hire. You know,
Yeah.
you got the money and you're not a dog shit band. Like, or even if you are, he might just be, like, he's got to pay his
Charge
bills
double.
too.
Like, okay, I'll sounds good. And
I'll
then,
put this through the Scott
spends
Evans
12 hours
app.
editing drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we play the Aftermath?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking jump all
Does
over
it
your
feel weird
guys'
listening to
show.
your music?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
But I mean, for the sake of the argument or the conversation,
It's just,
sure.
I just love that idea that he was like, all right, just fucking hammer this out, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man.
super cool. I almost want to take a page from that and just kind
That's
of
cool, yeah.
brings a little bit of spontaneity and just kind of see what happens.
Well, and that's the producer, as opposed to just like a sweet audio engineer.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Who
But
does-
there's certain producers who do. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
There's certain producers who do a little bit. They get the best product. It's in the most unique way. It's pure, and I don't really know how they would, like, for example, what's his name, Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's the kind of guy that he has this eclectic list of people he's worked with, for anybody from
Matt Miller.
Mac Miller to Johnny Cash
Yeah.
to
Tom Petty. I think.
Tom Petty
Yeah.
to Jay-Z,
Chili Peppers.
You know what I mean? Like
Metallica.
Yeah.
Seriously,
endless,
If
yeah.
your career's about to
Exactly.
die, do a record with
Yeah.
Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
like he
man.
brings bands back from the dead.
Exactly. And he's like probably one of my biggest inspirations for being a producer, but the way he does stuff is like I've heard that he's barely even there.
Yeah.
He just lets them
Yeah.
thrive in his like creative zone.
Interesting.
He comes in, he hears a couple things, and he's like, okay, try that. Okay, do this. Okay, he's not like hitting record or anything. He just comes in, he hears it, he gives like some value in terms of being like, I remember him doing the Jay-Z session, and Jay-Z's recording in this room, and it's literally just 4 mattresses, like with a microphone stand in the middle, and he's doing 99 Problems, and Rick Rubin just is like, how about instead you started off with a cappella? If you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems with a bitch one. Hit me, and then have the beat come in. And you just hear that one part, and I was like, wow, because when you hear that, it's so like it's.
That's how the song starts, right?
Yeah,
That's-
and it's like that was to hear like a creative choice like that being so subtle but so like impactful to the song. It really like makes me want to bring that out in like every artist to be like, I know you have like amazing songs, and that's why we're like working together. But there's gonna be a bit of like rub to get it out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I gotta like get more in the zone of, is like creating the rub. I want to create the rub. I want them to kind of like look at me and be like, this guy know what the fuck he's talking about?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want. But
Well, and for a reason too. So I think that Jay-Z example, and I could be totally no, I'm definitely talking out of my ass right now. But it almost seems like that is the unifier between the MC and the music, because he literally calls in the beat. He says, "Hit me," and then the beat comes in. So I mean, I'm sure Rick Rubin's listening. So let us know if I'm way off the mark here. But it seems like that was it makes sense as to why he did that.
yeah,
What a weird skill, though, eh? Like,
Totally.
you can have like beat makers and like lyricists and crazy drummers and songwriters, but to have a producer like that's his skill is like, I just know how to make this better. Like, trust me.
And he's not a musician or anything. He has no like training of
Nuts,
like
man.
any knowledge, but he's guys started Def Jam Records, like the Beastie Boys, and like what's his name from Run DMC,
Buddy?
yeah, that guy. But yeah, he like started that whole thing, and he's always just been that guy who just had the gut feeling, and
cool, man.
It's the fucking hair.
It's his hair. He cuts it, he loses his power like Samson.
but yeah,
Rick Rubin sucks now.
yeah,
It's fascinating, though, that for real, man. Like that's what's exciting about still making music is working with other people. Even kind of like a podcast is like you're bouncing ideas back and forth, but like your music, and you put it in the hands of a guy to mix it, and then a mastering, and then the whole thing,
Kind
picking
of.
the right. Yeah, however many
Not
people
us.
you want involved, all the artist to make the art, and then it's fucking super cool and fun, man. Like,
Yeah.
and especially if you get a tasty little gem like Rick Rubin giving you that, or
Yeah.
even you guys are even you like yourself, when you can produce like, I'm gonna try that idea
yeah.
and it works. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, we have an interesting process right now with our like kind of song production, because Adam is our songwriter, but he's also the vocalist. So he writes everything on Guitar Pro,
And bassist.
everything from and bass. So he writes everything from the vocal melody to like the down to the drums, down to like the extra like synth layers.
It's fucked.
And then so there's this like almost like I haven't really gotten into the groove of being like, let's just take this part out completely because
Feels like you're just chopping away at his baby.
yeah, well,
Take this.
well,
Life's work.
yeah, no, it's and Adam's very open about like letting us fuck up his songs, but honestly, like from most of the first listens, it's like there's not much. Like I can tell this has been like thought out somewhat. I can tell that there was breaks taken. There was like listens back and being like, okay, I'll move this part here maybe.
Crazy,
And so I guess in that kind of regard with our stuff, there's more of like a well-oiled machine. There's not so much like there is playroom, but it's almost like it's not even necessary.
Well, imagine if you could have like a dream producer that you guys wanted and what they might do with what you guys have, like it's kind of like Super Saiyan type shit, you know what I mean? We might turn it into like that.
It'd be interesting to see who could like really screw around with it. Like you hear about some producers and they're on certain bands and you can tell they really had an effect on like their sound. I feel like Rick Rubin's not one of those people. He's very like he's like a chameleon. He just camouflages into their kind of whole atmosphere. But then there's other producers like Max Martin. He's more of like a songwriter. You guys, Max. So he's like, so every hit from like Oops, I Did It Again to like
B44.
B4 but even like recent stuff, like he's the guy. Like that's him. He's like a guy who's like he used to be in like a metal band. He used to be in like but if you look there, he's got like he's wrote all those.
He wrote all these songs?
Yeah.
And they're probably all the same chord progression.
Well, different keys and stuff like that. But the thing is that like you'll just one of those every now and again will just jump out at you and you're like, holy,
I kissed a girl.
Wow, man.
And
one guy wrote all these songs?
Well, I'm assuming there was more of like a team, but he's like the kind of brainchild behind a lot of this. So he's kind of like, when you fucking
nerd.
When you hear the whole kind of like, there's this argument of like a lot of pop music sound the same as well because it's coming from there's one cook in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, wow.
And but this is an example of maybe somebody who really makes the song their own, as opposed to Rick Rubin. He's like, I'm just gonna kind of like be like the defibrillator and set the pulse and get the pulse going, and then but this is more like, all right, like you're great and you're really entertaining and you provide like an X factor, but I got to bring the heat kind of thing.
Who do you think out of all these sort of like pop artists are writing their own music? Who's like, does
Tyler the Creator?
Tyler does?
Tyler the Creator, his last album Igor that came out, he got an accolade for being, because it went #1, and I didn't even know that this was true. He was the first hip hop artist that made a #1 album that he produced and wrote and everything.
Wow.
And
Which
when you
one
hear
was
that, Igor,
Huh.
but when you hear it, it's not like a lot of like hip hop and rapping. It's like they sound like classics. There's like old loops and like a lot of hooks, and just they sound like old, kind of like James Brownie.
The last thing I heard was
some
Flower
strange stuff
Boy.
on
and
that
you're
album
hearing
for
it, you're
sure.
like, oh, and you kind of it's almost like seeing his evolution, because he I feel like his presence was super pivotal in like the hip hop world, making it more mainstream with the whole Odd Future thing. But now at his point of evolution, his regard as a songwriter is more like, I want to write classics. So when you hear it, it just sounds like it's been out for like 50 years, but it was just released like a few months ago.
I haven't heard one note of that, but I now really want to hear it.
It's really good.
There's a lot of different sounds too, right? I mean, that's the kind of production I love in hip hop. You know, you hear like Danny Brown or like
Danny Brown is
like
awesome.
JPEG Mafia. And
JPEG
shit like
Mafia.
that.
I
just
love
heard about
JPEG
this guy. Everyone's
Mafia.
talking about him.
JPEG
Oh, it's
Mafia.
awesome. Yeah.
I literally heard like one EP on
It's
YouTube, but
It's like, I don't know. Sometimes it sounds like Rage Against the Machine to me. Sometimes it's very hip hop influenced, but the beat production is very like, it's
minimal.
Like, it's minimal, but there's like ASMR influence. Like there's a lot of stuff when you hear it with headphones. It's like it's like really grabbing like behind your head, and you're like, what the hell? And but it's rhythmic, and you kind of
binaural beats.
But yeah, JPEG Mafia's last album, what was it? All My Heroes Are Cornballs.
I think
that was
I
what
have
it-
the one before that.
Okay.
I
I'm barely
haven't heard the
holding
new
on to cool
Yeah.
shit. Like, I feel like that Bill Burr bit where he talks about having a kid that you go in a bubble,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like 30 years later you pop out and you're like, what happened to my music and shit?
Yeah.
It's still like Van Halen.
Yeah. Totally. I just
Yeah.
grasping at what's still hip. I just heard about this JPEG Mafia guy.
Yeah,
Well,
dude, I think you
yeah.
would dig it, man.
Yeah,
Do you think your
So-
kids will keep you in the loop?
I don't know.
I think so.
My
I
kid,
think as long as you're open to it, I think it'll always be like that. Like your kids will get into music that
Yeah.
is relevant to
I
them
think
and
you just
all
have
their
to be
friends
open to
in
it.
school,
Yeah,
and then
no doubt.
eventually they'll be like putting it on, and first you'll be like, "The fuck is this?"
I wonder.
Fucking
And then-
dumb.
I wonder. We'll
And
see.
then-
Well,
yeah.
in 10 years we'll do another podcast and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll be like, all right, here's what my kids listen to.
10-year
do."
anniversary in
episode
2030.
46.
Yeah, episode 46, 2030. But
Yeah, we'll be freshly retired. And,
Yeah.
you know.
We'll just hologram in, show up.
yeah. Well,
You're glitching, Steve.
who the hell even knows? 10 years ago, I didn't think that we'd
do this?
be able to just
Multiple
do
cameras?
multiple cameras with ease.
Yeah.
No doubt, man.
And
Sometimes.
sometimes, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
cool too. How easy it is to make music now.
Yeah.
Like kids will just be making music, and the next like wave of creators, what they're gonna come out with, and
It makes you think, because 10 years ago, the music that's now like at the top of the charts, like you wouldn't have expected, at least from the hip hop side of things.
did you ever listen to Chance's first record, the 10 Days?
I started getting into him during acid rap.
Yeah.
So it's the one before
Okay.
Acid Rap, and I think he just did that on his MacBook.
That's
you know
when he
what
got I think he got suspended from school and just
Yeah.
spent 10 days making an album.
I mean? Yeah, it's
Wow.
fucking fantastic.
I gotta hear that.
Yeah, I
It's-
never really got into Chance that much, but
His new shit is
yeah, the big
Yeah, I
day.
didn't care for the
what's
second
the
album,
new-
or
what's the
the
newest
one
one?
after Acid Rap, I
coloring
guess.
book.
No,
I
the,
like that
yeah.
one.
You like that one?
no, the new
Coloring
one's the
book?
big day with the.
I hate
I
both
haven't
of
heard
them.
that
The
one.
newest one is called The Big Day. I think it came out earlier, late 2019.
Okay.
The cover is like a hand holding a clear CD,
No, I
and
haven't
it's got a
seen that.
bunch of like jewels on it,
Mm.
and it's like the background is like he's like holding it in his front yard. It's
Hmm.
like a clear sky day, and yeah, I guess the album got kind of shot. Yeah, there it is right there. The
Oh,
album
shit, I
got
didn't even know.
the album got kind of shot on because it was long awaited, and
Hmm.
the kind of the whole vibe of it kind of felt disjointed. Like it didn't really feel there was a lot of like each song flowed into the other one, and also he just started a family, so he's really like high off of that.
Mm.
And because a lot of people who are it's his demographic, it's like not a lot of people who have families.
So they're kinda
So
like-
when they're like, dude, stop talking about your wife. That's
Uh,
kind of the whole. There's like a meme made out about him, like I love my wife. And it's like because he says that as an actual lyric, like
mm.
in the
It's
album.
got to be pretty weird when people hold you to such high regard and you're just not able to. You just feel like you cannot bring it anymore.
And you know what's
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that is kind of bringing it though,
Yeah,
Like I feel like that as a married guy. Like I feel like a lot of people are like shitting on marriage, and by no means like is that why I got married, but it is kind of a nice little thing where I can just be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm married.
Yeah,
What
fuck
What
you,
of it?
Yeah.
What of it?
Yeah, it's like I fucking love it. It's
you
like
want to fight?
because that's why you do it, right? You don't do it because society tells you to, and if you do, then there's
Yeah.
probably more
Well,
underlying
yeah,
problems.
Anybody
But I mean,
trying
like,
to tell you what to do or shitting
Yeah.
on your way of life can get
yeah.
fucked.
But
Like,
when you choose to do it, it's like I can only imagine. It's like just under having a kid. It's just one of those things where you're like, man, I'm so sure of this, and I'm so sure of, continuing this.
yeah,
That's why when you hear people shit on it, you're like, yo, you don't even get it. You don't understand.
well,
you
that's
don't even,
it.
You
yeah.
don't.
I mean,
I wonder with Chance, like that last record, like so he, his creative mind, he creates this music and he has this vision for it, and whatever that vision is, when it resonates with a lot of people, then it's like, yes, this is a great record. Like that could be his best thing he's ever
work, yeah,
released, which
yeah,
you hope,
totally.
which is
Yeah.
kind of logical. But yeah, just because people don't resonate with it, like it's interesting.
That's what I feel exactly. You hit the nail on the head. He was being genuine, but he wasn't relating to like his fan base that grew with him. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd have to give it a listen.
Yeah.
And
isn't that what people loved about him to begin with, though? Is that he was flying his own flag?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I think it just like he was flying his own flag that was also theirs. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
And then when he started
Shush.
flying his own flag, that people were like, "Whoa, that's not the flag I remember." And they're like, "Wait, I don't know if I really like this guy anymore."
Yeah, I
The
liked him. I liked him
expectations.
when he was unique, but now he's unique in a way that I don't like.
Yeah, exactly,
That's-
exactly.
I'm that fucking guy.
I think that's. Yeah,
I think
and
we
it's-
all are
yeah,
sometimes, right?
anytime,
Like,
anytime something starts getting popular, I'm just
Yeah,
like,
he's
well,
the
I
ultimate
gotta
hipster.
abandon
Though.
it.
He's the ultimate hipster. He's the ultimate.
I
hipster.
fucking hate it. I hate being that person.
dude,
but
I feel like there's a bit of that in all of us.
You kind of
right?
need
Like,
that though.
of
You
course,
need that to like
yeah.
center yourself to be like, I know what I like. Because if you just
Yeah.
like, I feel like I fall into one of my biggest, issues with music is like I am too. Like I try to like it all. I try to like everything, and I try to find reason. If people are like, you heard that new song "Yummy" by Justin Bieber, it fucking sucks, and I'm like, I'm gonna listen to it when I'm not with you, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna see like what I'm trying. And then I listen to it, I'm like, okay. But then I'll always try to say one thing. It's like, well, this one part's pretty good, or maybe he did that because he's trying to. And I feel like sometimes I just need to, just gotta have an opinion, just hate on a couple things.
Well, sure, you can hate on things, but I also think like, it's not to get too deep, but like a sense of empathy, I feel like is sort of lacking in general society. You know, so when you say like I listen to that Bieber track and I try to find something or at least sort of justify in my own mind like why he might have made those choices or whatever, I think that's a good thing. I think that's something that we sort of all need. We need people like you doing shit like that.
I try
and
to have
talking
a level
about it on
head,
a
I guess.
podcast.
Yeah, like I think you said it perfectly because in all our episodes when we're all when we're all talking about our opinions, I'm usually the one that tries to like be the voice of reason in terms of like, oh yeah, you might like it because of this, or you might like it for these reasons. But I feel like when I think about like is there any music I don't like? And it's like no, like there used to be, but now it's almost like I don't know.
Could you go listen to those songs you used to hate?
Yeah, like I mean,
Without hating them.
Like I couldn't put them on every day, but like for example, now if someone says like, "Hey, let's go see this artist," and I have no idea who they are, I won't even. The first thing on my mind, the first thing on my mind used to be like, "Oh, am I gonna like it?" Now that thought doesn't even.
Well, usually when
come
someone's
across
telling you
my
to
mind.
come to a show with them, it's usually going to be a pretty good thing to go and see.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened too much, but let's say let's say a more reasonable thing, like someone's in the car and they put on whatever. Like I'm always gonna try to like actively listen to it. I won't be like it has these elements of it that are things I don't like. It has like
Death Grips was a little difficult for you.
Death Grips. I think Death Grips is a little bit difficult for everybody. You guys know Death Grips?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I
know Death Grips.
I think I've heard like a clip, like actually with you, Vargas. I think you
Maybe.
showed me a clip of Death Grips.
Yeah, they're
They're an interesting dude.
You didn't like it at
I
first?
don't even remember.
Well,
what
I
they
just
sound
didn't
like.
understand it. That's the thing. I think it's because I didn't understand it, and I think with like for example, pop music, people feel like they understand it so easily because you can easily like determine what it is at surface value that you can like write it off as like I don't like it. Whereas Death Grips is like, whoa, like there's this what? Like you just kind of every 30 seconds it's like what? There's a hook, but it's like the sample being like looped in this really weird way. And there's no vocals, but there is, but they're really like low in the mix, and like the drums are.
But once it sucks you in,
and then once you're kind of
fucking in.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of it is with understanding like or liking any music. It's that you just gotta. There's a moment where it just clicks, and then you start like Adam. I think you and I were having this conversation before, which is like I heard it from another podcast, but Post Malone. Someone was talking about that song that he first released that he blew up of White Iverson,
Right.
and a lot of people hated on him, and there was someone was saying in an interview, I forget which podcast, I don't know if it was like H3 or The Breakfast Club or something, but they were saying like, yeah, it's like one of those songs where you just have to be at the right place at the right time, and you don't choose it chooses you, and then you just hear it and you're like, oh. And I kind of started taking that really to heart for like anything. I was like, if I heard something and at the time it didn't really resonate with me, I knew there would be a time. That's kind of
that's a Chance. It hit me at the right time. Like I hated Chance when I first heard it. Acid Rap. I was like, this guy's trying so hard.
Yeah, his bird squawks were a little weird.
Yeah, and but I just was in a funk on the road once, and it just at like the right time, I was like, I need this right now. It's feel good music, and it brought me out. So it was almost like, wow, thank you, Chance, for writing that because I needed it.
I think there's a lot of bands that I hated at first that are my favorite bands.
Like what?
Like Primus.
Okay.
Like
Interesting.
Ween. Ween is my favorite band of all time.
And did you hate them at one point?
Didn't like them at first.
Which-
because they're just fucking weird.
Was it the right place at the right time kind of moment, or was it someone, for example, like just putting it on all the time and then you're like,
shit.
okay.
No, it wasn't that, but I fucking hate that. That's the worst.
Really weird, because that's how, if it wasn't for Patrick doing that to me in high school, I would have never liked metal music.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
Just
would have,
he
yeah.
kept,
Like I would have
like,
never liked
hammering it
Misery
in?
Signals or any of those bands if it wasn't for him just blasting it in the car every day when we would skip
blasting
school.
is blasting.
Nobody
is one
would be able
thing.
to talk to each other.
Yeah, you couldn't even
So loud.
You're sitting in the car
You're just
like this.
yeah, this
Yeah.
shit rips, eh?
Man, I had the
So-
worst day yesterday.
Oh.
No,
I'm so
Misery
embarrassed
signals.
by that.
Driving around in a purple Mazda
But
3 zipping around
when,
town.
I guess when the whole speech that comes along with that shit, we're just like, dude, like you just don't get it, man. But like you'll totally get it. You just gotta just give it a chance,
Yeah,
man.
Especially when the people are on coke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When
Give
you're
it a
on
chance, man.
coke,
Get a
it's
fucking
the
chance.
best.
Holy
It's
shit.
like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah. But yeah, with
think-
getting into like a certain kind of like style, it's like I feel like maybe it is two ways. Like for me, it's like I can either be force fed it or it has to be right place at the right time. But I think I'm always just waiting for it. It's like if I
Yeah.
know I don't like it, then it's like I will.
Hmm.
I believe in myself to know that I will, because that's like,
Nope.
Bring Me the Horizon. You guys know that band?
Yeah,
Remember how they sounded like
Mhm.
10 years ago?
Mhm.
Like with like they don't sound like that anymore. They do not sound like that anymore.
Mhm.
But that whole evolution of them getting to that point where they are now, like I was not a part of that at all. I was not into that. I was like, they got too poppy, they got too radio-y. But then they released this new they released an album about a year ago, and I took a listen to it. It was super poppy, super different, but it wasn't like generic poppy. It was just like a lot more singing, a lot more like sampling, but like it was still pretty dark sounding. And then I started looking at the credits. I'm like, oh, they wrote all this. No one, like, there was nobody else on these credits. There's no extra songwriter, no extra lyricist, nothing. So like the fact that it was a little bit more, or to me at least perceivably pure, it kind of made me more into it. I was like, oh, okay,
Sure.
like this is a legitimate, maturity, evolution of it.
I have a hard time trusting what the intent is, because like those guys, let's say they did let's say they did obviously write everything on it, but it's like, why did they write it this way? Like a lot of pop music I'll appreciate, just like it makes me feel good, but
Yeah.
I can't invest too much of myself in it, because I'm like, I just feel sometimes it's like, this is just to get on the radio, and that was it. When they were sitting down, like, we need to write another hit, and like if that's your avenue, that's fine. But I feel like music that resonates most with me is like either fearless, like death grips kind of thing, just like fuck it,
Yeah.
or like it could be really popular, but if it feels like this is truly what they were like, I haven't heard that.
That's what I
Bring Me
feel
the
like.
Horizon.
It was that I felt the intent behind it.
It's hard. I don't know. Like you guys could each speak on it, but it's hard to know what the intent is. To feel. I guess it's everyone's personal feeling, but it's just like, ugh.
How did you? Do you feel like through touring and like meeting bands, that's why? Because you got to see like a lot of different creative minds' intent behind things.
I definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bands and a lot of whack bands that it's like, this is like, I remember a band and the dude was just like getting ready to go to the club. Like he was like a sex symbol kind of thing.
Yeah.
And to me at that time, I was like, just fucking play your music, man. It doesn't matter what your fucking
Those
hair
guys are
looks
so
like.
cool.
Those are the hard things though, because if you're like a really like attractive, good-looking person, it's like, are you not going to think that you can maybe use that to your advantage?
Probably why he got into music in the first
Well,
place.
it like, yeah, when it comes to like that whole aspect of like music, I feel like, some people just fall for that. Like that's what buys them into
Some
the
people
music a lot
genuinely
more.
like it.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's cool.
It's like
I don't.
it's like
I
if
don't
you see
like
a
it.
pizza shop outside and you see two different ones,
You're
and
always
one just
going
looks
back to the
better, but
pizza
one
shops.
has the better reviews. half the people might just go into it because they don't bother looking online and checking out reviews. So they just
then one of them's a hole in the wall where you can get a slice and an 8-ball for
whatever you
pretty
need.
good
Yeah.
price.
Strange combination, but yeah.
Get a
Can I get
slice
the
and
pepperoni slice?
I'm not gonna eat this.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's my wife's really like, you know, on my ass about like not being so spiteful with certain music. She's like, you don't know, like you don't know this person. This could be the thing that makes them the happiest, and they really
and that's the thing.
are expressing themselves.
But you kind of do know them, right? Like, I mean,
I wonder.
I think you're both right. I think it's like,
true.
you know, you fucking know.
There's
But at the
definitely
same
music-
time, like, but that is also okay.
Music is some music's made definitely just for the buck and just for like kind of like
Definitely.
and if you're just like a standby half, I don't want to say half-ass, but just I don't know, music's done so much for me. That's just always thing comes up on the podcast where it's like it just helped me so much. It's a sacred thing that I participated in, that my friends, the most like real people I've ever met, it's just like holy thing.
Yeah,
So
pure.
when I see people pissing on it, it's offensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
such a great thing. Like, why are you? And
Yeah.
you know, it's juvenile to say like, why are you making popular music? Because like, yeah, well, this guy might pay his bills with it and this and that.
Yeah.
But
Well, here's a little thing to kind of turn that around. Like with working with Jordan, not from illicit, but this other guy Jordan. He writes, you know, he's a lot younger. He writes like hip hop and like kind of popular stuff, but he's just doing it because he just likes, you know, to hear a catchy hook, and he likes, you know, to get a good song going, and that's out of the just like when I, you know, I've had conversations with them and I'm just like, what's your end goal? Like none of it's just to like, you know, make a lot of money and stuff. So when I kind of see, it's like, man, you're just trying to write a really catchy song right now for nobody. So when I see that kind of gets my gears turning a little bit more to like the bigger picture of like, maybe there is a divide of like, out of all these, you know, popular artists, there's like a pool of them who are just like the money grabbers. There's a pool of them who are like the misunderstoods. Like I just genuinely like it. And then there's a pool of like a little bit of both, that they're like, I know how to write one that makes this. So I like to do it, but I just know that it's like, I can do like a death metal song and I can fucking kill it. But I know this one's kind of more or less what's going to, you know, pay my rent or whatever. So
I definitely waste less energy on hating on music than I used to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, for what, right? You know, like Lil Pump. I love Lil Pump. I think it's brainless, but it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, when it comes to the intent behind like what someone's doing, I'll never know. I'll never know. It's just how it makes you feel, right? And I actually love that at our house. My wife has the 91.5 The Beat on all the time, and I'm become familiar with all these pop songs.
There
but
you
it
go.
fucking, I'll be on my way to work and I'll put it on because it now puts me in a great mood.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just like, I feel good because the music's positive music.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Yeah,
It's,
I just equate that shit with being at the dentist.
really?
You know, because that shit's always on at the
they're trying to help you out. They're trying to make you feel better.
It's like Garth in Wayne's World with Kenny G, where he's just like, all he can think about is being like getting the drill in the chair. Fuck, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a big move for you, dude.
to like
To
radio
listen
music.
to that radio music and be okay with it.
It just now it just makes me think of home. Like I was somewhere and we put it on like on the internet. We were like traveling, just the fam, and it's like it just now I understand it a bit more. It might be I don't know, some radio pop star and they didn't write it and they're just a voice box for it. But for me, it's just like, I just fucking feels good. It's just like positive, like brainless, kind of like tap your toe.
At the 420 Fest, was it Grabert that came out with the smoke machine and the red light?
That was Miners. That was
That
after.
Miners.
was because we were trying to figure out like who was the.
I wish we were that cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That band fucking rips.
dude, Miners are. Have you heard Miners?
Yeah,
That's
that's another
They
one
set
I
a
heard
they
from
set a
you.
mood. That's another
Yeah.
cool thing about
Lights.
about like how simple, like that was such a simple setup. It was
Totally.
like one.
Yeah.
It was like a couple lights that
Yeah.
really
But it
changed the color of the
it
room.
changed
Smoke
everything.
machine,
Yeah.
and then it was like there was some like you know, like wrestling chick in the middle. It was like round two, and I was
Yeah.
like, that was such a simple thing. It was like easily asking your friend like, hey, can you just like do this once in our show for like 5 minutes?
Imagine being like
And it added
13
so much.
at that show, and that's like the first show you go to. You're just
Yeah.
like, you'll never
Yeah.
forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That shit's effective when done well. I
Went
remember a
down well.
band from Thunder Bay where they had a light guy on stage with a homemade box with light switches with a guitar strap, a box like this, and they were like, dun, 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 and he's on there.
Yikes.
I know bands that used to do that.
Just get
like,
behind the
friends of
fucking
mine.
drummer and
That's
Yeah,
fucking
just-
And you're all awesome. You're all great.
lame.
On off.
When done.
I would kind of like to be that.
And
Yeah.
they would be like on tour with bands. Right?
Yeah.
They would be a member of the band essentially, because that was a
Yeah.
big deal back then. Was
I
the
think they
DIY
still are.
light show?
I think now like they just have more professional like lighting guys, because now like the systems is like you have a soundboard and now you have like a lighting board that you can just hook it up.
Yeah, you can.
Well,
Yeah.
and you can control it all from Ableton Live, and like you
Yeah.
can do all kinds of shit for like on the cheap too, right?
Do you
Like,
guys
Yeah.
play with clicks
Yeah.
live?
Yeah.
I
So
do
our
in band, but
You do?
yeah,
Yeah.
our drummer
We'd be fucked if we didn't.
yeah, our drummer just has a click going. So we basically have our laptop
Mhm.
with the interface, and then our drummer's hearing like through the interface, like headphones, and he hears the click through there. But out of the monitors in the back of the interface is like what the front of house is, and that's just like
We'll all be having in-ear monitors.
yeah,
soon, though.
backing tracks.
Cool.
and
yeah,
some
like
in-ears,
any
yeah.
808s or like shit.
That
like
would
that.
seem
Yeah,
like
like
easy.
because we don't have a bass player right now, so that's just what we have going. just
Yeah.
the bass track.
Do you guys do lights and shit too then?
No.
Because that seems like
It'd be so
easy
cool,
to line up with the click and like the sequencing of
Yeah.
it. Like I'm
just an investment we haven't ever.
Yeah,
thought of
yeah.
lights, but it'd be
They're
cool.
expensive to buy, but they're cheap as shit to rent. Those
Really?
lights.
Yeah, they're like $40.
I think even less.
That
Than
would be
like
interesting
for a
to see.
weekend, but like it's
They changed so much of the show, man. Like
Yeah.
even like with like on any scale, lights that go to the music, and then with color, they're such a bonus. Like from a small scale, like the band that has one light each on the amp, or even like one in front of the drums, to like crazy big pop artists that have like a light box like stage that they walk on, and it like changes
Crazy.
color, and there's one above them and stuff. Like yeah, I feel like lights are such a game changer, but
they really are.
but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like the show will go on just as well without them,
mhm.
yeah.
because Harmony Lunch, rest in peace,
Feel like
Dead.
you pour
Yes.
out a beer.
their system got like upgraded a little bit just before they closed, like slightly.
Strange
it's
time to
like
upgrade.
they got
Yeah, right, but
like
months
slightly-
before. Now with new lights for
Well,
the
they got-
closing ceremonies.
they got like a light bar set up like in front of the kick drum.
Uh-huh.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I wonder if we can buy any of the shit that they had in there.
No, I think well, this is I don't have a confirmation.
I'm just
on
talking
this.
about their mirrors and stuff.
Their mirrors,
their mirrors,
their menus.
that phone booth, that old ass phone booth.
That was
That
sick.
bar.
Well, that place is a classic. It's a staple. There's so much history in
Was.
that place, and it's just
So
gone
what's
crazy.
next? Like who's doing what? What's
Kyle's still running the shows,
He's okay.
and the guy who runs Harmony also runs. Do you guys know Nick and Nat's Uptown 21? It's like
Mm-mm.
a kind of like a.
I don't think
fancy-
that's
I
a
know
real thing.
nothing
It's
about
like a,
KW.
It's like a
man.
fancy restaurant in Uptown Waterloo, but the same couple owns this place called Taco Farm and this place called Pat and Social,
Okay.
which Pat and Social is kind of more of like a place to host shows. And I think I don't have a confirmation on this, but last time I was speaking with Kyle that it seems like they're trying to kind of split it up into all the places that those same owners have.
I want Taco Farm.
But
Yeah, I
it's
want-
ho-
that
but it's
sounds
hard, right?
amazing,
Because
yeah.
considering that Harmony Lunch was kind of that like little nook where just all the left field shows can kind of go. These places are all established with like one's fine dining, they're all
Mhm.
dining. So like to throw in like an acoustic person or like a DJ to play songs, acceptable.
We're
You get the
getting
full
minors
band
in
in.
there.
You get the full band in. It's okay. You get a hip hop artist there. Okay. You get like a half and half. And then when you get like the dubstep, still like a little bit of like a half crowd, but then when you start
Skrillex
getting a little bit
tribute
more
band.
alt and stuff, it's like it's make it or break it.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of feel like, and it's like at least that's what Harmony Lunch didn't have, was like you could kind of just go there and any show could be going on and people would love it.
You ever go there, Harmony Lunch?
Never been, man.
Man,
And can I now this is gonna blow your minds, and to anyone listening that knows me, I gotta take a piss.
take a piss. Ha!
Oh, okay.
Do you know where the bathroom is?
I do.
It's
Do I
right
need
over
to
there.
do that?
Yeah, it's
hanging up there.
That's right. That's
Behind
right.
the kick
Car
drum.
pickup. Cheers, man.
It's just the land.
Yeah, it's the one with the orange fucking.
on the hook. They're the different strokes. Lanyard, look down. There they go.
Close. It's hanging
It's hanging.
right there.
There you go.
Gangada.
But yeah, thank goodness for Kyle, man. To
Yeah.
just keep doing shit.
Yeah, it's locked.
He's just keeping it going, man. He's keeping it going, and he's not. I just like, and he's gotten so many opportunities too. Like he now does booking for Call the Office in London.
Cool.
And he works for Conestoga, like students. So he does like, he books like, for example, on like I would assume it's like this, like Frosh Week. This guy's coming through. He books that show now with this team of people. So he's got all these like bigger opportunities. But the fact that he's still just so devoted to like keeping the scene alive on that scale is like super important, because if it wasn't for him, every band, you know, from here would be trying to go to Guelph, London, Cambridge, and what venues are there? 1, 2, maybe?
It's cool. There's some kids in Cambridge, some friends, the No Funeral guys. Karloff, I don't know if you heard of those guys, or Nate, he runs No Funeral, and they're just fucking amped to get shit happening, man. Like pushing, he's pushing his label and doing releases, and they just got a spot that's like an all ages spot in Cambridge.
Oh, that's
so, man, they're just so enthused about it. It's fucking great, like, because our city needs it too. Like Cambridge needs somebody. I'm not doing it, you know. Even those Pink Lemonade guys are doing stuff.
Pink Lemonade from something from Bad Egg, is that what it is?
Bad Egg, well, not from it, it's
affiliated with,
they're affiliated our buddy Rebello and I'm blanking. I'm such a shit. I got dad brain, man. It's like half my brain is now just alphabet soup, literally.
So how old is your kid now? 5?
5. Turned 5.
So what? That's
month.
Grade
JK. Started JK, man. Remember when we were in JK?
Nope.
I actually do. I remember I got in a timeout because I told the teacher to shut up.
No.
Yeah, because she was trying to get me to take a nap. Remember, like nap time, they had like cots, like you're in friggin' Auschwitz.
Sure.
Have friggin' cots laying around everywhere. And then I remember, she was like saying like, you have to go, like take a nap. And I just do shit. And I was just like, eat my shit. I just said, shut up. And then she called my mom, and then
your mom's like, I don't get.
My mom's like, we never say that here. We never say that here.
And your dad's like, kurva.
Yeah.
Exactly. Polish dad's like, what the fuck's he talking about?
Yeah, it's nuts though, man. Fucking, it's crazy too, because like we're dudes and homies, but like that's all our parents were. They were just like knuckleheads like us.
But do you find that even though it's such a young age with junior kindergarten, do you see like social dynamics at all?
Not yet. No,
not yet.
He's still so young.
Is it just too like they're just kind of
brainless?
Kind of. Yeah, they're just like hanging,
absorbing shit.
You know, I do hear him now have more opinions of like, I don't like this kid, or I don't, but just voicing his opinion about stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd love to just be a fly on the wall in class and watch him interact with all these other
Put
little
a lav
humans.
mic on him and just record all day.
Just listen in
There's
all
like
day.
a band outside and you're wearing a wood. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. But well, like, even with all these podcasts and all the shit I've done, like, I wonder if he'll give a shit or not. You know, like, it'd be cool if it could, because I was inspired by shit musically, and I know that's a powerful thing. Like, even I remember watching Mighty Ducks 2, and that that feeling, if I could bottle that, right, that you leave the theater and it's like literally inspiration.
I want to do that.
I want to play. We go play puck. You know what I mean? That feeling. He'll get it through. I hope he gets it through something. But it's a big question. Like, wonder what the fuck he's gonna think about all this shit. You know?
Do you remember your first moment?
With what?
Of like just kind of that whole like, I want to do that, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, I remember mine.
Like your Mighty Ducks 2 moment. Was it Mighty Ducks 2 or?
I remember that, but I remember doing a paper route, and my little town was so small, there was nothing happening to it, and I heard a band playing, and it was just really like, these idiots in my small town can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could do that.
Yeah.
That was a real sort of like, that's what literally has still to this day, right? I'm still like, it's still like that, like, I could do that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
that was mine.
It's probably what it was for me too. Was just like, we called them live band nights growing up in Erin, and
That's a small town too, right?
yeah, small town and nothing going on, and occasionally you'd have a show, and just watching those bands, and just had that moment of like, holy
How old
shit,
were you?
I want to do this. Probably like 13, 14.
Yeah, just like cover bands were coming in.
No, I mean, you had original bands. And some pretty cool ones, actually. I mean, now, if I were to actually listen to them now, it was probably shit. But, like, at the time, I was blown away, right? So, which is all that really mattered, because it was enough to get the wheels in motion.
It's that whole, like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
The moment that was just
that fueled you to like I want to do music
Oh man,
or an album or anything?
It was well, when I first started playing guitar, I think I was.
Why'd you start playing guitar? Sorry.
Oh, it's So I first started playing bass, and it was because my uncle, him and his brother are like conservatory graduates, and they do like classical stuff, but they had this like short scale bass, like a bass that had a neck the size of a guitar, and it was like old, and the switches, there was a bunch of like, it looked like a telly. It had like a Telecaster body, but with all the switches and shit, but they didn't work.
I could probably fix it.
Probably, if I still have it around, I could find that. But
sick.
I remember I was playing it, and I would play like some Blink-182. Like I remember playing like Carousel by Blink-182, and then I don't know what got me to start playing that. I think it was just because like friends in elementary school were like, "Hey, we're starting a band. We need a bass player," and I was like, "Oh, I think I got that. Bass one's one with 4 strings, right?" And then that whole thing. But I think what kind of really fueled like the momentum or the inertia or both was when people were like, "You're not gonna do that. That's not what you're gonna do. Like you can't do that. Like that's not realistic. Like really? Like you
mean today?
Like, yeah. Well, it's still like
parents or like just friends?
I remember it was because Patrick and I go back to high school where he's the guy that got me into heavier music, and we were kind of we're gonna do this, forever. Like we had that moment,
lunch table talks.
Yeah, and I remember there was just like this one night. I don't remember who it was, but we were just kind of like, we would do this thing where you'd meet up with your friends in high school every Friday at like the school yard, and you'd drink, at night and stuff. And we'd bring our acoustic guitars and we'd play like August Burns Red song. We'd tune down to drop C and play on our acoustic guitars.
Windmilling on your acoustic.
Yeah, we tuned on our acoustic guitars and drop C and learn them on Guitar Pro and then play them at the bleachers just because we wanted to.
Sure.
But I remember like when we'd get all like, jazzed up on those moments, we'd be like, yeah, it's going to be cool when we start playing. You just have this, it's going to be cool when we start to do this, that, and the other. And then, you don't have, your friends who you've known for years suddenly you're like, whoa, you're having these sort of conversations like we're all this.
Like we were just joking, man, about being in a band.
Yeah, but
I'm serious.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe like for your peers who are the same age as you, like they kind of see things a little bit more like realistically to their point of view. And I think I remember just one person being like, it's really hard, right? Like, it's like gonna take a lot of work, and like a lot of people give up. And,
what a
like,
shit.
And then I remember just like that. It was just me.
That guy works at Linamar now, by the way.
Well, the thing was that it wasn't even like a fuck you, like I'm gonna prove you wrong. It was just like, oh, like that is what everybody hears. That is like and then I started thinking, it's like, okay, that whole people doubting you isn't because they don't want you to succeed. It's because like that's the energy that like brings a lot of people to that like, place. But I was like, no, I gotta start succeeding. And it wasn't like I want to be the best. It was just like I want to have something to show for it. And then now I feel like 10 years later or 12 years later or whatever, it's like, yeah, I'm not making like crazy amounts of cash or anything, but now when I meet up with them and it's like, oh, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and they're they kind of painted by numbers, and they're kind of in that maybe almost nearing midlife crisis kind of thing where you were saying before, where it's like, oh, I saw top of that mountain and now they're still climbing. Shit, top of the mountain's not as great as it seems.
Well, I think you just
so
knew.
Important.
Yeah, that might even be kind of like full circle to us talking about kids and like boosting your kids up. Like, however your parents raised you, something about it made you like realize like, no, I really actually like this, and not kind of like being true to yourself as a kid. Like, no, I actually really like this. I'm going to keep doing it despite hearing like it's actually kind of hard to do, or even just losing the momentum of it. I'll split that with someone.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll split.
Right,
take first dibs.
Is that cup? Can I use that cup?
Yeah, go for it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think it was it's bringing that kind of inspiration into like the next generation, and especially when you're trying to, you're raising that next generation, right? Like you want to fuel that inspiration in whatever way it may be, even if it's like, I want to make the best like I want to make the best AstroTurf for stadiums, such a benign thing, but at the same time, it's like that's a huge goal. Like,
Man, I
And
really
Toronto needs that shit. Man. They need it
the
bad.
world needs it, man.
Somebody get on that shit.
I really want him to fucking play music. I absolutely, man. It's just so healthy to just express
Music or
yourself.
just any artistic?
any creative outlet.
Sorry,
outlet?
what's that?
Music specifically, or just like any artistic outlet?
I think any artistic thing,
Yeah.
yeah. Anything that will cause struggle and doubt and just make you look in the mirror honestly and overcome things, and then past that, like community. Like I have friends. Everyone will have their friends through whatever, but I have like caliber friends who, like, through experience. It's not. This is so dramatic, but to say like we went through war together. We literally didn't, but we went through like
Your
with,
version of hell.
Yeah, with Derek,
Yeah.
like we did the same shit where you're just like doing it for no money and just like really kind of struggling and questioning yourself, and you endure and you get through that. There's like people who are just genuine, real people, like like Derek, like real ass people that I can count on and that are important to me, even just to grow as a person myself. I pull from all my friends, and that's all through music.
Yeah.
So he might
Yeah.
my kid might have swim team or something, but something that tests him as a person.
Yeah, that mileage that builds character,
Exactly. And that's
Like
that
that
whole
sort of road worn,
Yeah.
Whatever it may
mentality.
be, yeah.
But you want the struggle, like you said, the struggle and the doubt, because I think pursuing a creative outlet like music or any other art form doesn't allow that whole like 8th place trophy. Like you can't get an 8th place trophy with that.
Yeah.
Like you will just be either like you don't get to measure it that way. Like you kind of have to look at your stuff subjectively and be like, do I think this is good enough? Or do I think this,
And
that's
that's
like,
like
no one's there to be like, it's a pretty good song. It's a pretty good song.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, good job, buddy.
it's real pretty humbling, like to put your ideas out there and like, I think this is really cool, you know what I mean? And then if people say that's cool, but yeah, it's just whatever he does, I hope it's something. And because like I'm exposing him to drums and he's playing and he's coming to shows and he's got records
dope.
and stuff, but that doesn't mean shit. He might just
grow out of it.
be like, nah,
I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
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 I'll be at home like on my kit practicing and he's like over there like playing with his
Xbox.
Transformers, yeah. And I wonder if he's thinking like, fucking dad's not playing, and like hating the drums, like dad's playing the drums, he's not playing with me. I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe.
But did you guys grow up like with a heavy musical influence with like playing
Not at all.
music?
No, I didn't.
So maybe that's why you're into it now, because
Could be.
because you discovered it on your own.
100%, man. That's such a good point. That whatever he'll naturally stumble into, that'll be so much more potent for him than me being like, here you go,
Yeah.
music's cool.
But hey, you never know, because there's I've seen like parents and people I've known who've like been bred by their parents to like do a certain thing and they love it.
True.
You know what I mean? Like for example, like the family business. Some people like just love taking over the family business, knowing one day they're going to be able to take over, and that's something that they were even like forced into unpaid child labor to do. Like a few years.
Who fucking knows,
It's called an
man?
apprenticeship. It's called an apprenticeship.
Yes.
Who knows what's gonna happen, man? I don't fucking know.
Speaking of businesses, do you guys tip when you order takeout?
Order takeout?
I do,
Yeah.
but my
Yeah.
wife kind of beat me into submission on that one.
She doesn't want to?
No, she does. I don't.
So example being like you order pizza and you come in.
Yeah, you go in and pick it up.
Wait,
Yeah, I'll give a tip. Yeah, I'll
if
give
I
a
do
tip then.
Yeah, I do tips generally always. Actually, I never
Yeah.
not tip.
Only if it's
Why, you don't tip?
No, I'm just curious. I had a friend who
Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay.
she was ordering entoyitos from this store, and one of her friends who's been working in the restaurant industry for 10 or so years said that she doesn't need to pay for takeout, so she pay tips for takeout. So she never paid, and then she called an order in, and then they took her number down and told her to never come to the store again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
Fucking A.
But she was going like 2 to 3 times a week to that fucking place.
And not tipping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
You got.
I mean,
tip.
I've seen the light now, but I definitely I didn't get it before. And I am a tipper, when it comes to drinks or service, like dining in, all that.
Now is it 15 or 18? You guys do 15% or 18%?
I always tip 20 because it's just easier.
Damn, I feel
Yeah.
cheap now. I was gonna say 18,
really,
like I'm all
I suck
proud.
at math, dude. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
50%.
Pretty much that's what I do too. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, all right, what's 10% of this? Okay, double it.
Yeah.
that's exactly. I'm like, I don't want to try to find out that.
You feel like a
midpoint.
total chud, like,
like
pulling your
partial
phone
tip,
out. Like,
Yeah,
partial
exactly.
dumb
I just
tax,
like
you know?
move the decimal point and double it. That's what I'm like, and I'll seem always good no matter what.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a shit job. I served for a little bit at the hotel, and just like the hockey teams I deal with, the hockey fucking parents, dude,
But they're cheap.
brutal, just shitty.
Oh, like, no
Shitty,
respect for the
privileged,
facility.
Yeah,
Assholes.
assholes, man.
Yeah.
This fucking egg is half cooked. There's like 80 people in here.
Yeah,
Eat
and
your
there's like
fucking
80
egg.
of these eggs in a tray.
Yeah,
It's been sitting out here for how long?
Why are you coming to me for eggs anyways?
Sorry guys, I
It's
just
a
gotta use the bathroom.
hotel.
Yeah,
Okay.
do it, bro. Yeah, it was a it's a saying that everyone should work in the service industry, and
I think that's
it'll never
true.
happen. But yeah,
Or
it's
at
still
least
a
the
nice
customer
saying.
service industry, right?
Something.
At least in any sort of industry where somebody can come up to you and go meh 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 meh, and then you can't say go fuck yourself.
You just take it
right?
on the
Like,
chin. I've had
It's
that.
so difficult.
Oh
It's
yeah.
such a shitty position.
I remember.
to be
I
in.
remember this lady. She was like, there was a delivery that they didn't order, and she bitched me out for not bringing out the order, and I knew they didn't order it because I see the contracts. I just fucking took it on the chin. Oh,
Damn.
I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
my bad. I'm the piece of shit.
I had
Yeah.
some dude at shortstop try to return a bag of milk that we didn't even sell at the store. I'm like, dude, give me a fucking break.
Brings in a symbol. This is crap, dude. We don't even sell symbols here.
He's like, I just bought this here an hour ago. I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting because he didn't.
That's pretty interesting because yeah, we don't hold that here. It says bought at Safeway on your receipt.
I bought this here. No, you didn't. Yeah, but you can imagine what it would be like if I did.
If I did, I'd be pretty pissed off right now.
So what are you guys doing next, like musically? Like, so the album and
Yeah, we're writing up the album. The album's all written. We're just recording it.
here, or are you guys gonna?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Ian and I are gonna start parting off the guitar parts. He's gonna record his guitar. I'm gonna record mine instead of each of us picking a song and kind of tackling the guitars all by ourselves. And then hopefully we go on tour.
What do you guys feel about like, investing in physical? If you guys had to choose, would you press CDs or vinyl?
Ooh.
Or either?
Never even come across that issue. I think yeah, it'd be cool to have. But who uses CDs anymore?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I
Such a
do.
bummer, but-
I'll buy CDs still.
Really?
Do you?
Yeah.
Where the
Just
fuck
because
do you
my-
play them?
In my van.
Yeah.
But it's an 03 Caravan, so
Yeah.
like new vans don't
Next
have
season
that.
isn't gonna have it.
Yeah, it's it's cost so much, right? But I wonder.
Yeah, I think streaming is just where it's at. Everything else is just a novelty.
Well, I think vinyl is still a viable option.
It is, but it's way too expensive.
It's
It is.
goddamn
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. But the artwork that you get with it is amazing.
Yeah, and it kind of just separates the men from the boys. I mean, if
Yeah.
I like a band, I'll go pick up their vinyl.
Yeah, but I hate having to fucking flip the goddamn record after 4 songs.
Yeah,
I love it, man.
Yeah, I feel like that whole thing
Real
about
hard.
like records is like kind of. I was thinking we were talking about this with Jarrell,
Maybe.
which was, when that was the only option of purchasing music, it was like this thing where like, mom or dad would come home and bring the record, and everybody would sit around it, I would assume, and put it on.
I just picture that scenario with like fucking Morbid Angel or something, where the family's like, I have the Morbid Angel record, and they put it down. Like,
Wow, this is fantastic.
I love that.
Mom, I fucking hate Christians.
Yeah. We talked about choking the fetus. Really hit home for me.
But I wonder. It is such an expensive thing, but
Yeah.
there's definitely a scene for it. Like people fucking repress. Like bands our size, like put out shit and then do second presses of it. It's interesting. Like, but it's fucking expensive.
Yeah,
It is
It's
expensive.
kind of impractical sometimes.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
need a following to press vinyl.
Yeah, it's like an investment. It's like if you have a following, then you have to
They have
balance
to be
that
loyal.
out, because if you don't have a following, it's like always pretty much going to be a loss for
Yeah.
a while at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
How about
that's very
tape?
true.
tape, which
That
kind?
shit, it's coming back though, right? Like,
That's
or
actually
it
the
has
happy
been back
medium
for-
where it's like you can afford to get a nice little physical thing with a download code.
Yeah.
So
okay.
you know,
I think that's the incentive, right? It's a cheap way to produce something physical, to basically just get that download code out to people.
Yeah.
right?
and you still get that act of listen. If you are like have a tape player, if you do have a tape player where you physically put it in and press play.
It's like the one medium that just degrades over time.
Yeah, but
It's
isn't
weird.
like tape like the
tapes
worst
were
kind of
awful.
quality?
Yeah.
It's like
It's just I feel like it does. Yeah, it doesn't sound great, but it's for those people who never got to experience a tape. I think is part of it too.
It'd
Yeah.
be cool to sample our own music off of a tape.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've heard of people, or I think it was you that told me that like some people do sampling with tapes where like they microwave it for a bit.
Sure,
Or something that, like,
I got a buddy
microwave
in
a tape
Winnipeg
and
who's
all.
like totally manipulating tapes and like
Yeah.
loops and as all these little 4-track thing and
Yeah, that whole, because when you can kind of record a tape, it has this certain quality to it that's very lo-fi. So I feel like that's kind of the appeal, is like now lo-fi is like this. There's so much time that has passed that now it's like an art form in itself to like slip into like modern production, which is cool.
yeah.
There's
I
a
really-
plug-in for that though.
Yeah, it's like, exactly.
Isotope vinyl.
Yeah, isotope vinyl. That's,
Yeah, that's I feel it's like I feel like undercurrent like subculture pushes like mainstream shit, right? It all starts underneath here and then it gets up to here. And maybe people are just sick of like the highly produced, like, cuz you can perfect it to insane levels that people are just like going against the grain and
Yeah.
embracing that like degrading lo-fi cassette thing. Maybe that's part of it.
kind of going back to Tyler the Creator's Igor, I kind of feel like that literally is that when you hear them, you're like, these don't sound hi-fi, super high quality, like crisp samples.
A lot of them aren't in tune.
Yeah,
it's so
like
crazy.
the whole album is not tuned. So if you like look up chord progression for this song off this album, you try to play along to it,
Like,
it
tune
always
it down
sounds
a
out
few
of tune.
cents.
It
Yeah.
always sounds out of tune because this whole album is
Wow.
tuned down or up like however many cents. So you
Yeah.
can't play along to it, just so it has that extra kind of like
This is my own thing.
this is mine and nobody else's.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. I really like that.
Yeah,
I've learned a lot with Sabs. Like, 'cause Sabs is, I feel like Shawnee, like our guitar player, it's kind of his vision, you know, like we all get our part in it, but I learned from him like embracing like mistakes and just the imperfections, and it just makes it more honest of a
In the
of a
recording?
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we have like hiccups in the studio that we just keep on the record. It just keeps it. I don't know. It's so easy to make things so perfect
yeah.
that it's almost a detriment maybe sometimes.
Yeah, like I
Uh-huh.
love those imperfections. Now that you mention it, even like in any sort of production with the guitar, like when you hear like the string slide to like change the next chord, like I love that, but a lot of people hate it. A lot of people don't like that, and for
I
me,
hate
it's
when
like,
I do it. I
Yeah.
hate when I'm recording and I fucking do it. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid, but it's like I didn't realize you could remove those.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a ton of
Yeah,
gent
yeah,
records, right? Where like they'll actually
Yeah.
go into the session and they won't even gate it; they'll cut it out.
Yeah, they'll just cut it.
Yeah. So it's just literally as tight a guitar sound as you can get.
Yeah, I feel like with the more modern metal productions, that it's very surgical. It's very modern in the production aspect. It's like
But
we're
if
not
you're too surgical, you just remove the entire, like, all the energy.
the energy.
If you're
Yeah.
too surgical, you remove the art.
Fuck, I
And
should
we're
have
gonna
said
end it
that.
on that.
It's like when you play Operation, man.
Don't touch the
Sometimes you
Operation.
want to get shocked, though.
Oh,
you know,
fuck.
like
But I wonder what like kids with their apps and their phones, like some kid's gonna be some genius whiz and release this banger of an album from his fucking iPhone, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I guarantee you, it's already. Well, that's
Sure.
I was watching a video of kind of like how a lot of modern like production, like even with like the highest of the highest art, like acclaimed artists, like let's say Drake, for example, they were kind of. It was like a think piece on how he's kind of doing like punk rock things, but not in the way the music sounds. Like for example, like 2 of his #1 hits was recorded in a bathroom on an iPhone, like his vocals. So people are like,
Really?
"Yo, that's punk rock as shit." Like imagine
yeah.
like
Taking
someone.
a shit and recording your vocals.
Yeah,
Can you take out that fucking?
but it's like the fact that it's like
I
he
got a lot of
didn't,
shit on my
you know,
mind.
it's
That's cool. No. Like that.
also the sports section.
but yeah, it's that whole thing of like people I think are doing that, like taking those really raw elements and like that kind of whole. You don't have to overthink it to make it sound good, and people are doing that. But because now like behind every great artists. There's like a team, you know, there's like a lab of people incubating this thing to be perfect. They're still doing things that are against the grain, like, you know, number one song on the radio that everybody, you know, the vocals are recorded on an iPhone in the bathroom. Like, any engineer would look at that and cringe, and, you know, but the fact that that's being used now, but kind of under the hood, when I hear things like that, it's like, okay, that's how it's being incorporated. It's not going to be like one mic in a room with the whole band playing, but it just has to be done in a certain way.
Is there another word for cringe?
Cringe? Synonym.
Google.
What's the synonym for cringe?
Adam's on.
I think I've reached
Wince?
I've reached the peak of that word, I think.
Coward. Oh, pull back or drawback is good.
Yeah. Fuck, all these kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's so recoil worthy.
Computer here.
That riff is so recoil worthy.
What's the Leaf score right now?
What's the Leafs?
Yeah.
Probably not very good.
You guys are
No.
big hockey fans?
No, I played hockey growing up.
I'm a hockey fan. I'm not like, I mean, I play fantasy hockey.
He pulls it up.
So so
No.
I pay attention on that level. I do like hockey, but I honestly don't sit down and watch as many games as, you know, probably a regular hockey fan.
Because I think last time we were talking, you have a bunch of baseball bobbleheads.
Baseball is my jam.
So baseball is your jam.
Yeah.
Do you have like a sport that you follow no matter what?
No time, man. I have no time.
Yeah.
Have a kid. You don't have any goddamn time.
I know.
No
I
time
don't
for
think we-
shit.
Well,
I don't
that's
think we
not a very good
realize-
pitch, man.
You guys don't
Yeah.
realize.
I don't think we
It's
know.
I'm
crazy.
not really
I'm
interested.
like, no, I'm good, man.
Your
I'm good.
free time.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that kid thing.
Yeah, I don't want.
I got a kid
I
in my
can
future, man.
eventually.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, no, it must be
Take
like
the plunge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do it, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like,
I mean, I
once you
want to do it.
It's
I
like
want to do
you
it.
can't. You'll never want anything else.
I have to do
It's
it.
definitely hard, but there are certain moments that are just.
The purest of the pure.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah.
you'll never be able to explain it.
Yeah,
There
you
are
can't.
moments. It's not the whole time.
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
like
like- yeah,
this is
there's
fucking
moments.
great, because sometimes
Yeah.
like this fucking sucks.
It's like your
Yeah.
kid does something, even if it's not like the
Like,
funniest thing, or like he just does something that makes you look and you're like, whoa,
well,
I am so lucky to be here right now.
You see like a human progressing. I saw my kid like skating and getting past, and that's like some real shit, you know. Mostly because it's like, well, that's something I made, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If your album could like do cool tricks on its own, then it's
One of
maybe the
these days.
equivalent.
Yeah.
Our album went to number 1
Twice.
yeah.
When Goodbye Audio learns how to ride a toboggan.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, with having a kid, like it must be those little moments where it's like irreplaceable and
Yeah.
you can't top it. It's like nothing else. It'll only keep getting better, you know, because like the kid
Totally.
grows, and then there's like now he's gonna be 15 or he's gonna be 20, and then there's gonna be these, you know, maybe he released an album and it went to number 1. And you're like,
It's
whoa,
nuts,
like
man.
what? Like
You know, there's like, I feel lucky that I have both, man. I have this feeling of like that we all share of like, you know, executing a good song that you're like, I know this is a good song. I love this song. I'm proud of this song.
Mhm.
Same thing with like, I'm proud of this kid. Like I'm lucky I have both. Like, you know, you can do either or, but fuck, man, it's really crazy. I have both of these things that I can, I don't know, that give me purpose. It sounds like deep, but like for real, like music does for sure. I feel not relevant, but I feel like I'm connected and I'm doing something, right? Like
Yeah.
same
But I
thing
mean,
with kids.
evolutionarily speaking, you could make the argument that, you know, procreation is the meaning of life, right? Like it's
Yeah, for
you know,
sure. As if
like-
if we break down the purpose of like a single cell organism, you know,
Yeah.
to like not to avoid extinction.
yeah.
well, yeah.
Then yeah,
Yeah.
procreation is the secret to ongoing life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily I have a good, you know, partner, and my kid's not a shit. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
lucky in that sense. He's a pretty good kid, and like it's not a crazy scenario. It's not for everybody, for sure.
Do you ever worry about influence? You know, like outside
Oh yeah.
influence?
Oh yeah. Now that he's in school, I'm kind of like, fuck. Now I'm done raising him, and I can even hear in how he talks. Like he's like, Dad, am I dabbing right?
bitch.
I'm like, I didn't teach you how to dab. Yeah. He's 5,
Damn.
and I fucking used to shit on dabbing. You know what I mean? So now I'm like,
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, now you're like,
Dad dab.
"Oh,
I'll
yeah,
teach you how to
exactly."
dab.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
dab,
crazy.
do it right. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's nuts though, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's
Huh.
it's something I can't even begin to fathom of like how it impacts you, like just in everyday life.
Totally, man.
Because music does that for me. Like I create something.
Think if you couldn't do music,
and
how would you feel? Empty?
I feel like I would still be creating something. I don't know. I feel like I've always had that thing since I've been a kid that I wanted to create. Like I've always, like, music wasn't the thing for me. It was like I wanted to be a comic book artist. So I was always like drawing these like shitty little comics, and then
I had a phase like that too.
yeah, just like phases of creation though, and it was always like I want to be this creative thing, I want to be that creative thing. And then when music hit me, it was like, oh, I am able to create. Like everything was kind of just trial, whereas there were certain things that started to become more defined and refined. And yeah, that's kind of the thing that, you know, only I can understand now, that it's like, oh, when I create something and people hear it and they're impacted by it and they like it, that's kind of what gets me going. But I don't know, just anybody who's had a kid is like, there's nothing that can top it. And
It's pretty nuts.
That's why you don't get
Patrick, let's have a kid. Let's do it.
But yo, if people don't
All
want
All
kids,
right, Ian
that's
and
all
Patrick,
good.
get on having a kid.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like crazy to think. So we're like, you know, mid 30s, late 20s. It's hard to picture myself as a 70-year-old man still sitting down behind the kit. But
True.
it's totally possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys ever think that far ahead to be like, what
I
the
don't know,
fuck am I going to be doing?
I think I'll be that guy for sure.
I don't know. I kind of hope that it's going to be like Futurama, and I can be like a head in a jar that you can attach to, like, you know, it's like, oh, I want to be a drummer today. All right, I'm just going to download like Neil Peart today.
Neil Peart body.
And then I'll just be like, you know, just ripping, and I'm like, all right, I want Chris Adler tomorrow. And then I just download Chris Adler, and then I'm like, all right.
What age have you always seen yourself living until?
Oh, that's a good question.
In most recent years, past 100. Because of medical technology. I feel like it's going to get to that point where like there'll be things that can not stop aging but really slow it down. I kind of feel like when I become maybe like, just because of how far it's progressed, like, you know, think about our parents or grandparents when they were young, the life expectancy was, you know,
25?
late 60s.
Yeah,
late
16.
Well, it was like realistically it was like, you know, maybe in mid 60s, late 60s.
100,
No
eh?
fucking idea.
And now it's like in the 80s for North America at least. And
Spitting all over
I
the
know.
fucking place.
and and to think about where is it going to be? Where's it going to be in 40 years? Like, you know, when I'm 60, like we're all 60.
100.
Like where's it gonna be? I feel like there's gonna be things that can maybe. That's just me kind of looking at.
You're
like,
being super optimistic, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm being
Yeah,
super
this planet
optimistic.
might not be here.
I'm super optimistic about like medical technology and all that kind of stuff. That's like, well, if the way it's been progressing and improving has raised the life expectancy like by like a decade or more, then imagine what it can do in 20 more years. Who knows? Like, we didn't know what was gonna, like, we didn't think that this 10 years ago was gonna stick around and be the calculator, the phone, the map, the iPod, the everything.
You know what I
The
worry
social
about?
life.
That we're gonna miss that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
we're gonna get old and die, and then my kid or his kid, if he has kids, those will be the people that will get that. Like, yeah, we're singular. I kind of feel like we're gonna miss that.
Yeah,
shit.
maybe. And
Yeah.
maybe they'll just put us in like, you know, we'll be the last of the people to be put in like retirement homes, and they'll give us like phones to like, you know, be like, oh, check out my cool Snapchat filter, and you know, like they'll be like, okay, we guys put an Xbox here for you, like we put SOCOM 2, just go play it, you know.
There's like
Yeah.
retirement homes with fucking SOCOM.
That's what I don't know. I feel like I can't
Could be.
shake that mind. It's like in retirement homes, they're just gonna have, because those are the things that kept us entertained. Like, just like people in retirement homes now, they do things that are like nostalgic, and for their generation, it's more activity based things. But I kind of feel like for ours, it's going to be like half activities and half like video games
That's
/
actually,
like
yeah.
technological, nostalgic things. Like, here's an iPod. We gave you, you know, here's
Here's Tyler the Creator.
yeah, exactly. You're going to be sitting there like,
How old do you think you'll get?
I don't know how old I'll get, but for some reason, I've never seen myself going past 50 years old.
50.
Yeah,
50,
it's strange. I
So
don't
you're
know
halfway
why.
there.
Yeah, just about.
That's kind of
over.
creepy, but like I feel like that's people feel that like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
like the end is
dude,
coming.
I
Like they know.
Just for some reason, I just feel like 50 is my my
Crazy,
endpoint.
man.
Do you feel like you just don't want to shoot too high? So like, if it does come when you're 50, you're like, ah, okay, cool.
No,
Man.
I saw it coming.
but I feel like I'm gonna outlive everybody just for saying this kind of shit.
Yeah, you're gonna be like,
I'm
I
gonna be
think
the
it was
last
past 100 and I'm
alive,
gonna be like 50 years old.
You're gonna be wishing to die. I
Yeah,
have
but
nobody
fuck,
left.
man.
Just take me.
Oh man, I would hate that.
And then
to
your
be
head's just
alive.
in that jar, like in Futurama, where they're feeding you fish food,
Dude.
and you're just sitting there like,
Imagine being alive with just like nobody left. That would be so shitty.
That would
Bro.
be the worst.
like
yeah.
nobody that you grew up
Yeah,
with.
like none of your friends.
That's like, what if you
totally
have a family
happening.
and shit? Like what happens if you're gonna go past 100,
Oh,
but
your
you
family's
got
probably abandoned
you
you
got
at that
you
point.
know little I don't know what your kid's name
Mateo.
is, Mateo. So you got Mateo, and he's like, you know, in his 40s, and he's got a kid, and you know, but you're like, I want to see the next one and the next one and the next one, and maybe that's what becomes your like fuel.
I think that's a real thing of becoming old and just losing friends. Who was it? Someone, a buddy of mine. He was his grandfather, I think, was looking at a photo, like kind of like, holy shit, I found this old photo, and then it dawned on him like, I'm the only one left. All these people are dead.
Yeah,
That's
like-
terrifying. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get old and like I don't want to be a burden to my kid. I want to just live my own shit, but I also don't expect him to entertain me.
Yeah.
So
Do you
unless
expect them to change your diapers?
if
Well,
I
yeah,
have to
that's
get them
over.
changed, I hope there's robots at that point. And he doesn't have
Yeah,
to do
exactly. Diaper
But,
Max
it.
3000.
Man, I, like yeah, getting old like sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Just for that, like, cause I can drive here and we
Mhm.
can do this and I can interact with people, but like my friends, I might die. My friends, we're all
Yeah.
gonna die, and it's just like a matter of when
yeah.
and where we're at.
But that when thing, it's like if the when is really later, I feel like a lot of things will change. Like for example, like
What already
Now it-
has changed, right? Like it's
Exactly.
affecting like the whole the economy, right?
exactly. Like
Big
think about people who are like in their 80s and 90s. Like they have to go do a driving evaluation test every year. We might not have to do that because cars will probably just drive themselves.
I really hope that's the case.
That would be cool
Me too,
because
I'm
then you're
so
just
Speaking
sick-
of getting
yeah,
old,
so
I
sick
broke
of
the
all these-
seal, and I'm
yeah, go
Jeez.
for it. Well, could you imagine? It's like I'm at the bar.
Hi, I'm Derek.
Pick
by the
me,
way.
pick me up, pick me up. I'm drunk. You know, take me to the drive-thru at McDonald's. Like, let's go.
We really take our health for granted. Like we just do our shit, right? But like if we can't drive, then you're stuck in your place,
Mhm.
and then you have to figure out the bus system, or maybe you can't walk great, so it takes you forever to get to the bus. And yeah, I hope there's self-driving cars, and I don't fucking know. Part of me actually kind of thinks like, fuck, I kind of hope This is gonna sound so grim, but like I hope I die before I get old.
Yeah, me too.
Nah, see, that's the thing. Is
I
like
don't want to
ever
get
s-
old.
I don't know. See, I'm on the total opposite of that because ever since.
I don't want to be that
I don't know if it was, like-
decrepit old piece of shit.
But that's the thing is like I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. I just think that it's gonna be not like
It'll be
our
better than
lives
it
are gonna
is
be
now,
easy. It's
for
gonna
sure.
be better than it is now. Like they're gonna, you know, like
But that's
for
not
example,
saying
like
much.
what's it called? Like the bag. What's it called? Like a
Colostomy bag?
Like that will improve over time. That won't be a thing that we're gonna.
It'll
have
be a
to
thicker
deal with.
bag.
It'll be yeah, with a longer tube, one that doesn't stay attached to your body, one that can
Wirelessly.
extend 50 meters. No, but I mean like
Shit wireless.
just all those little tiny details like technology helping your body run. Right now, it's at a place
But
where
at
it's
what
like
point is it
there's
no
people.
longer you?
Well, it's as long as it's my brain, it's fine. I have a broken arm with a plate in it. If I had
Your arm's
if
fucked.
yeah, if
You
my-
literally do?
yeah, it's like
Yeah, his arm's disgusting.
Wow,
It's
what
like-
happened?
Mount Trashmore. I was walking up the hill, not paying attention, and got hit by like 4 guys on a tube, like speeding down. And I got
Like people
got
like
smoked.
like yeah,
Yeah,
sliding.
Yeah, and then I got I got smoked, blacked out for like a minute, and then this part of my we got the camera.
See the camera?
This part of my elbow right here was all the way up here.
What
So it
the
was like an S when
fuck?
and it's one of those things that when you're in shock you don't feel the pain, but then when I went to the hospital they're like, okay, now take off your sweater.
Okay,
and then
you're
I
kind of
took it off,
fucked.
and then I looked at it and it was this S, and then that's when all the like kind of. But the thing is like, you know, like think about like someone who's an amputee. It's like they don't think they're a different person. Like sure they have maybe like that phantom limb thing where they wake up some days and they feel like it's still there, but you know, if I'm like 80 and for example like I have to be in a wheelchair, but that wheelchair can now go upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be cool with that because now I don't have to worry about like, oh, is everywhere accessible? Is anywhere accessible?
I think it's
know?
hard to really know how you're gonna feel, right?
That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like I think that's why I'm not dreading getting older because I don't know what's gonna happen, and if everything gets worse, then I'll die sooner. And if everything gets better, then it'll probably be better. Because I know, like, there's the thing with, like, you know, people who are old and they kind of get, you know, they're like, you know, just wish it would all end or whatever. Sometimes depending on their health. But I'm just, yeah, like you said before, I'm very optimistic about, like, what the future holds in terms of, like, medical technology. And I think that especially now with, like, the whole, like, epidemic of, like, over-the-counter drugs being, like, addictive substances, that will eventually, like, start to see its way out, and they'll find a new way to, like, rid people.
Yeah.
Chemtrails, man.
Yeah, well, who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's me being, like, optimistic, where it's like, if I get older, it's probably gonna be better. Like, not better than it is now, but better than it is for people who were that age at this time.
Well, and hopefully better. You know?
That's totally why I'm hitting the gym now. Like, I've been going to the gym for like a year. I'll do 2 days of like heavy cardio and 2 days of like some weightlifting.
Do you find when you miss a week, you're fucked?
Not
like
really.
Super difficult to get back into it.
Not really. No. Good. So shout outs Good Life.
Hey-o.
Oh yeah.
You can see that. Not really, but partially because of how I'll go. I do classes. So there's like an instructor.
Oh, okay.
You just show up and you just follow the instructor. So they're leading the pace, so it's not hard. Like, I might feel it a bit more, but once I'm there, it's great, man. These classes with teachers are great. But going there is just for the future, right? Like, I'll start now, get into healthy shit now, just to up the, because I do feel like science will get better and this and that. But then now I'll also have 30 years of going to the gym if I continue.
Yeah,
Have you changed your diet?
Not a lot, but that's the next step.
Yeah.
That's for sure the next step.
Are you going vegan?
No, I'd like to do less sugar.
Yeah, that's
It's hard.
difficult.
It's hard.
So hard.
There's like a week where it's terrible. Like, me and my girlfriend now, she messed up her knee. I think she like tore her ACL
Oh shit.
and MCL, I think.
Oh wow.
Because she's still trying to wait back
that's
from an
huge.
MRI. But because now she's just doing a lot more sitting around, she doesn't want to just be eating crap. So, like, kind of without even knowing, we kind of just went like vegetarian / like sugar free, and it's really hard, like, getting off sugar, because there's a week where it's just like everything. It's like getting off cigarettes. Like,
Everything has sugar.
everything
like
irritates you.
Heroin, you know?
Yeah, like
just
everything
the
irritates
withdrawal.
you. Your body aches. You're getting headaches. You're waking up. You like, you want that coffee with a little bit of, you know, sugar or whatever. Or
Yeah.
you want, you know,
How do you guys
Want
eat?
that beer, you know?
how,
whatever.
how?
Like, in general, like good or bad?
Depends on the week.
The diet is better now because I eat a lot more with her. So the diet consists more of just like plant-based stuff and grains and stuff like that. But how much of it and how balanced of the diet should it be is where I'm kind of falling short of that. I feel like I need to kind of, now that there's no meat in the picture, and it's just, it wasn't even like a choice. It was just kind of like, oh, cool. Like, there's more stuff to eat now. But I feel like with less meat in the picture and less sugar, you have to feel like you need to eat a lot more because you don't feel as full.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of the thing that was the hardest thing to kind of overcome, was like, okay with not being like super full and bloated, because I feel like there was a while where that was the end goal, is like, if I eat, I gotta be full. I gotta be
your
like,
back was starting to get messed up from it. You were walking weird.
Was it?
I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. That was probably me just hungering over in that chair all day.
Probably.
I think all these moves too, as like, because as players, like, it's a physical thing, and I want to do it when I'm old too. Like, it's not just for me, but it is 100% for me. It's for my kid, but like drums for sure, super physical. So I need to try to keep up my body to be able to do that.
With drums especially.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
just such a, your whole body's moving. So
I don't know. I think guitar might be more difficult.
You think?
I just picture a dude in here like practicing, like, but like jumping off the
Sweat.
couch,
Yeah. Or he's like, got
I told you.
He's got a leg press going
From the
just
top
like-
rope.
doing squats with his guitar,
Yeah.
doing the crab. Shit, those guys probably have like great backs and legs, because you know when people doing crab core, and they'd like go
God.
from side to side with their legs spread out really far.
So
The thing I like is how cool they look when they're doing that too.
Crabcore?
That's
Crabcore.
yeah, you're a fan of that. You
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
Bring it back, bring it back.
it. You've
Do
been
something
practicing. it
crazy.
quite a
I've been
bit.
practicing my
Something
crabcore. What
crazy.
can I say?
Yeah.
No.
It's hard to cut sugar though. Like, it's hard to cut. It's hard to go to the gym. It's hard to fucking get enough sleep, and it's hard to eat right.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy hard.
Yeah. The sleeping thing is hard for me. Like, just getting
You
like
don't sleep.
Yeah, I pretty much sleep like 4 to 6 hours every day. Just
wow.
because it's not. I don't know. Part of it, it's like there's this point when I'm here, and it's like if I'm feeling tired, there's like an hour where if I just break it, it kind of just kicks whatever.
Like it'll keep you up.
Yeah.
It'll keep you up.
Get your
and then,
second wind.
Yeah, exactly. Get a second wind, and then. There was something I read up where it's like if you're sleep deprived, it's where your creative mind is more like less. You're less judgmental of your.
But that's
like,
Was out on broscience.com.
probably not very
is
good
in,
for the brain.
I fucking love science.com.
Oh, that's my favorite place.
It was on the forum of National Geographic Kids.
Actually, you know what? Let's be real, guys. It's not InfoWars.
It's
Ooh.
InfoWars.
Yeah, it's not InfoWars, guys.
You're getting your
So it on
Get your alpha
science
brain.
is sick AF.
No, well, that's interesting though. You're definitely whenever you're super tired, like you're tapping into some weird part of the brain.
Yeah, but it's probably not very healthy.
It's not very healthy in the long term, but I feel like for creation, it's like that. Yeah, it's like that whole. It's like when you have like a beer and you're a little bit less judgmental. Yeah, you never had
what's
beer
that
ever.
like? Yeah.
I don't drink beer.
No, but when you have like a little bit of a drink and you're creating and you kind of there's less judgment, there's less inhibitions. Your inhibitions are lowered, therefore whatever you create you kind of like don't overthink it. As soon as you create it, you kind of
Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Go move on to the next thing, and then because I always feel like when you are on a roll with creating and then the next day you hear a full song, you're less to be like, oh, I don't like it, as opposed to if you make like a riff or a really cool like 16 bar thing and then the next day you hear it and you're like, I don't see any potential in this because there's nothing that grew
You
out
haven't
of
allowed
it.
yourself to finish it.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Like there is definitely something to finishing a project,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And even like releasing it and just dealing with the aftermath, right? Like I think even just with podcasts, like I say stupid shit all the fucking time. Every single episode, there's something that I could have edited out, but it's just like no, this is gonna be like, I'm just gonna put it out there. It's gonna be that sort of teachable moment where you learn how to just conduct yourself more eloquently next time, right?
Yeah.
And but if you did edit it like that, then you wouldn't have to live with it, and thus I don't think you would learn anything, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what makes like either a podcast or a song or a riff hit people, because it came from like an honest place or I don't know, just a really pure. I think that's really hard to capture, like a really pure thought into a podcast or a really pure riff that you aren't getting in your own way of, like, because how many cool riffs have never
Seen the
has
light of
anyone
day.
because you stopped it, you stunted it or squashed it, or drum or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you should get some more sleep.
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever, man. This isn't a fucking health podcast.
Yeah,
Dr. Drew.
Spinning and
enough,
everything
mister.
podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about life and death and
Yeah.
kids and
Yeah, that was a deep one.
Yeah.
so, honestly, sometimes I'll do a podcast with my buddy Muskie and it always goes this way.
Yeah.
Mad deep about like life and that shit. It's fun. It's,
Yeah.
You know what I think? It'll never happen. But after a show, when you're coming back from the venue and it's like 2 a.m. and everyone's kind of squirrely tired, that's when the best conversations
Yeah, dude. Adam and I were talking
Yeah.
about that. Like whenever we play a show and we come back here and all the equipment's like packed up, but like
But
just
you'll
in
never
red.
capture it.
You just talk about the energy of the show and like, oh, remember when this person did that, or like remember that band, that one part that they did, like that was so cool. Oh, we should do more of that. Oh, I feel like that's what was missing, and blah, blah, blah. You just have all those talks, and yeah, it's like really ups your
Well, like abstract thought, right? Because you're dead tired, but you're just running on adrenaline.
yeah.
Right? Like I think anything creative is done, pretty well in that state of mind. Like that was so much behind the Wakeless record, or at least my contribution to it, was working that night shift that we were talking about earlier, and then just hitting the jam hall right after my shift. It was like 7 a.m. or something.
Wow.
And then just sitting down with a guitar.
The Diaries record?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard that record? The
No.
Wakeless? Fuck. Isolation Diaries?
Desolation Diaries.
Desolation
Yeah.
Isolation Diaries.
It's fucking so good, man.
Dude, I don't even know.
It's crazy good.
You guys seem to be big fans of each other's music.
Yeah,
big time.
Well,
Like-
and we've been for years. I mean, we've toured together and just.
Well,
always been
Derek was
buds,
like,
right?
Yeah.
when Tugnut was doing shit and no one liked it, Derek like wore a shirt, and I'll never forget it, in the promo for like a Rise. I don't know if it was a Rise of Pure Blink or maybe both.
It was a
In the
music
video.
Yeah.
And it was just like, how's this cool guy like my shit? So yeah, we've been fans for a long time.
And then I met him, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck this Derek guy. This Derek guy's a fucking
No way.
gearbox.
But Wakeless is bananas, man. Because you did all of it, right?
No. I mean, it was Greg and I. But I mean,
Well, you did the
recording wise, I
drums.
played drums on that record, and I played my guitar parts
and vocals.
Yeah.
There you go. See,
Okay, so you did quite a bit. That's.
Yeah.
Do you feel
for sure. I feel like Greg. I feel like Greg has some. I can tell like this is a Greg part.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
How long ago was that made?
Oh man.
6.
Yeah,
7
maybe
years ago?
7 years ago, something like that.
It's fantastic.
How do you feel?
man.
How do you feel looking back on it? Do you like? Because I know you really like it. But you
Production
being
wise,
the
it just
creator,
didn't turn out, and I love Colin Canning. Mixed it and produced it for us. You know,
Colin did?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
and you know, it was kind of a hobby project at that point. Like we'd kind of, once a week we'd come lay down something, and it sort of took a while. But I think he's phenomenal at what he does. I just don't think that album turned out the way that I heard it in my head.
okay.
It
So-
sounds super good, man. It's like such a because I like the drum sound on that record. You did the drums on it, but like it's got, and this isn't to make it sound. It sounds great. You guys will hear it and it sounds great, but it has such a jam hall kind of feel where it's like not overproduced and
right.
I knew you guys kind of did it yourselves, but that part of it, it's like it's kind of surprising how good it sounds because I think when you do shit on your own, we're not professional. I'm not a professional. It's hard to get it to like be that professional quality, but like everything about that record, man, is crazy.
Shit,
And above all that, the songs, like fuck how it sounds, the songs. I think it could sound shittier and still be great because the songs are so good.
Okay.
You gotta hear it.
Yeah, I think mostly for me, probably my number one sore spot with that album is just that like I wasn't the singer in the band. Our singer just quit while we were in the studio.
Oh, so you had to
Who
kind of
was
take
singing?
Josh Doherty.
So you had to
Doherty!
take the,
Yeah.
Did
You
you
guys
take
ever-
like the lead on that?
Yeah. So it was like we either audition singers, which is probably going to take the better part of a year, to find somebody that we jive with and does everything that we want and, doesn't mind being an equal contributing member, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Or I can just fucking
Step
man
up.
up and do it, right?
Yeah.
But, that was sort of the first thing I ever did on vocals in the studio. So
Looking back on it.
looking back, it's I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
you got to start somewhere.
No,
I had
interesting,
done,
'cause
I had
you
done
could- yeah.
screaming vocals in the studio.
Everyone will hate
before,
their own
but-
shit. If you're,
Yeah.
a good musician, I feel like you hate your own stuff.
What about you
True.
with the Sab stuff?
Um,
Do you feel the
The-
same way where like people are like, yo, like I love that one, and you're like,
the last record, I'm as stoked as most people are with
Okay.
it for sure.
cool.
For sure. The one before that, they're all good and they all have their own unique sort of feel, but I feel like this last one was the accumulation of everything hitting it on the head, hitting it on the nail.
Mm-hmm. Hitting the nail on the head with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with the stuff that we've done, it's kind of the same feeling. It's like as the more stuff you make, the more you're satisfied with it. But there's sometimes stuff where you look back on it, you're like, no, that
For
was
sure.
not it. But then people like listen to it, they're like, yo, I love, like, that's some of your best stuff ever.
Yeah,
You
well,
should-
you're never gonna hear it.
Yeah, you're never gonna hear it
You
again.
should feel that way though, right? I
Yeah.
feel like your old stuff you should be a bit cringy with, because it'd be weird if like you look back and you're like, fuck yeah, that shit ripped. It's kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
actually,
And I feel like all
didn't.
great artists have that same feeling with their like first albums and stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
well,
Not all of
hopefully
them,
you would
but-
evolve.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
Yeah,
you wanna-
God bless like the Slayers of the world, but like at the same time, I think most artists should have that natural evolution, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. It just there's some people who are fantastic on their first record and they're just genius and they carry that through all their work. But I feel like at least for what we're doing, like I'm not a schooled musician. I don't know if any of
Yeah.
us are,
No.
and like we're learning as we go. So you see that even in the execution of the last, like for the Sabs, what I mean? It was years of like figuring out how we sound and who to work with and all of it,
Yeah.
but only comes with, we don't know how to do this. We don't have like the money or the producer to make this really work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like you should feel a bit cringy about your old stuff.
Totally.
Maybe not so dismissive, where you're like, because it was what it was.
Yeah.
Like, this is as good as I could do at that time.
Yeah.
But
Don't hate it, but just
it's,
be like,
it's like old tattoos. Like, don't hate it. It's like, it was
Yeah.
just where you were at when you got that tribal tattoo.
Remember how stoked you were when you got that tattoo, or when you went to the studio with that batch of songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. What's your guys' favorite drum sound ever, like on any record?
Ooh. I gotta go like some Paul DeLong, Kim Mitchell shit.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, one comes to mind. There's a band called Akimbo. This is even to be a fucking hipster, but this band I think they're from Seattle.
Sorry, Akimbo?
Akimbo, yeah.
Is that all one word?
Yeah, Akimbo.
I thought it was like one Kimbo.
Akimbo. Do you remember the band Lords?
Vaguely.
I know
Vaguely.
Lord.
No, not that Lord. I forget Buddy's name.
I am Lord.
I totally forget everything about
yeah.
him. But Adam. Oh yeah, sweet. I was gonna say, can you check the records? I forget what it was called.
An Army of Evil Robots Program for Human Destruction.
Navigating the Bronze. That one.
Navigating the Bronze.
Navigating the
Yeah,
Bronx.
the
That's your
drum
favorite
sound
drum
on
sound?
that, and whoever worked on that, I forget his name. He was in Lords, I believe, but that one sounds fucking awesome, man.
Just
What
about
it sounds like really fat and ugly, but powerful. And I'm just like that's what I kind of aspire for as a drummer, right? Like powerful, memorable, type of shit. The last Sabs record I think sounds great too.
Yeah.
The snare sound on that's like pretty gnarly.
That production is like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't mean to give you a wristy live on
Do
a
it,
podcast.
please
but,
do
like,
it. I'm lonely.
That album is so fucking well produced.
I'm so happy with it.
It's
man.
like, I don't know, man. Fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. That album is like one of those albums that you listen to and you're just like, that was an experience. You know, that wasn't just like a cluster of songs
you
that sound sick. You know, that was like an experience.
Yeah.
It's funny that it's called Goodbye Audio, because if that was our last record, I'd be so proud of it. It just
name ever.
everything. I'm so like, yeah, I love that record. I can listen to it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of my shit I can put on and listen to like comfortably. I don't know how you guys feel, but like, how often do you put on your music? You know what I mean?
Never.
All the fucking time.
I only do when I'm mixing it, and that's like enough times that I can.
Yeah, I
listen
love
to
putting
little
it
tiny
on.
details like 50 times over and get sick of it. But then I love it when I listen to it a few days after.
Yeah, I do it just to fucking learn all the guitar parts.
Yeah.
Just constantly playing it over and over and over.
What's your favorite drum sound from any record?
Probably Dave Grohl's in Utero.
Oh yeah, Steve Albini.
Why?
Yeah.
Steve Albini. Yeah, he's
There's this one
so
song.
deadpan though. When you see interviews with him, you're like, is this guy serial?
He uses way
Probably.
too many microphones on the drum kits.
Does he?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. There's just one song, Scentless Apprentice,
Yeah.
and the fucking drum sound is so powerful and boomy.
I always heard that they liked that record more than Nevermind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
was
Kurt
their
Cobain
thing.
thought Nevermind was like a pop record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that was
But
there.
Steve Albini, I think, was like his choice, or definitely the band's choice.
Yeah,
right?
Kurt Cobain, they called him drunk in the middle of the night one night, and then they just decided to do the record with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, Steve Albini is the man, though. I feel like that's
But he's
Like, I
he's
don't-
kind of a douche at the same time.
well.
Is he?
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like what you need in a producer. You kind of need
He
someone
gets
who's
mad
like
at people
that.
for drinking
Yeah,
smoothies.
Like, okay, but I don't need him to marry my daughter.
Okay.
I just need him to put out sweet
Good
albums.
music.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like for everyone that loves Kurt Ballou, I feel like there are some very Steve Albini qualities to Kurt Ballou's productions.
So
he
what
definitely
is-
has a production, yeah.
What's a Steve Albini quality to you? Like what jumps out?
Just
like very
just
live
really
off the
dry,
floor?
live off the floor kind of indie vibe.
Okay,
Mm.
interesting.
Some friends of mine worked with him, the Ken Mode guys.
Oh shit, yeah.
Their last, no, not
Forgot
their
about
last
that.
record. I'm such a shit. I don't remember fucking anything.
Dude, I have the record they did with him.
I don't know if it
can't
was
remember what it's called,
Success or I think it was Success.
though. It was the one where he changed up like his vocal style.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It would have been Success
Okay.
then. But yeah, they were able to work with him. And
I wonder how much they had to pay.
probably a lot, yeah. But they're like they know how to get grants. I think some grant work helped them, and they've been a band forever. So and they're accountants, so they definitely have all their
Oh, yeah.
pennies in order. And hopefully the band's momentum, like at this point, is kind of paying for itself. Have you guys heard that last Can Mode record?
No.
I've
Never
never
even
heard
heard
of
of
them.
them.
Man, it's so gnarly. It's
Yeah.
so like the opposite of the Success record, where they're like, we're just gonna make the ugliest record we've ever made, and it just crushes your brain.
Wow.
It's
Sweet. Well,
yeah, it's
definitely
so
check
good.
that out, man.
Yeah.
Did you say they're all accountants?
Yeah, no kidding. There's like
Yeah.
all this list of stuff. What's that?
They're all accountants?
Yeah, well, the brothers, Jesse and Shane, they're chartered accountants.
Wow.
It's interesting to see musicians of any caliber, like what their other.
They have a real job.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, for
eh?
example, like what was it? Isn't it like Brian May from Queen is like a astrophysicist or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that? Yeah,
that's true.
Weird Al
And
Yankovic
same
is
with
isn't
it's either Riz or
architect.
Jizza. It's like an astrophysicist. Or
Jizza?
something like that. Yeah.
Really?
I didn't know that.
I think one of those.
Well,
Some-
this is like a lame poll, but isn't Buddy from The Offspring like a college teacher or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
He's somebody of
like
higher learning. He's like a scientist or something.
Yeah,
right?
The
Yeah.
Offspring.
A
And then,
Dexter
like,
guy.
Yo,
um,
Smash is still a sick record.
Yeah, man.
yeah. And
That
then
record
also,
is great.
Who else am I trying to? Molecular biology. Who else? The guitarist of Tool. He was like the makeup guy for like Jurassic Park and
Really?
Terminator.
Terminator 2.
Yeah,
What? I
there's
didn't
like
know
videos
that.
of him like painting the little like small scale like raptors and stuff, and he's putting like the little scales
Painting on
them.
raptor dicks. What have I done with my life?
This is my
He
favorite
needs to hook
part.
upwards.
Yeah, well, that was. I remember as a kid it was actually a bummer when I found out like that most bands that I'm into like all have day jobs. I'm like, oh, I thought this like all these bands were
Yeah,
huge
dude,
and they
yeah.
were pay, you know.
But
I
it's also
guess-
kind of good to know, like, 'cause
Yeah,
when you get older,
100%.
you're like, oh, this doesn't have to be
Yeah.
everything.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a loser if I fucking work as a hotel porter.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah,
Dude,
for real.
that was one of the moments that broke my heart, man. It was I sold, well, whatever. It's legal now. I can say it. I sold Darkest Hour some weed back in the day,
Uh-oh.
and
Travis
they,
Orban.
they were like searching their van cushions for like change and shit,
pay
and
this
I was
kid
just
for
like,
weed.
oh my god,
Yeah.
these guys are like. It's like the James Brown of metalcore, you know,
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
you'd call it.
No,
But
no,
they've
it's a
been
great way to
doing
put
it forever.
Yeah, and I really
And-
respect bands who fucking like really gave her a go to make it, you know, because we all like kind of swung at it, but some people they commit, like they're like, no, this is how we're gonna pay our bills. Like I think a
Yeah.
band like the Black Dahlia Murder, like that's their job, that's what they
Yeah.
do, but they're committed and they've just mostly that like committed to the life of it.
Do you
yeah.
think they're on a bus? Or do you
Depends.
think they're
I
still in a
wonder.
van?
I wonder.
No.
You would think a van to save money. Actually, and Mark and Fuck the Facts, when he was playing with them, they toured with Dahlia, and I think Dahlia was on a bus at that point.
Oh shit!
But that
okay.
might be just more functional because they're doing overnight drives and
Yeah.
load-ins are like 2 p.m.
when you have a driver, right?
Yeah, if you have a driver.
That's
But
huge.
Like I don't e- could do you think like you could? It sounds great to tour on a bus but like let's say 8 months of the year you're touring, and let's say most nights you're playing like clubs that are 100 150 people, and that becomes the norm, and then that becomes your job, and like such a commitment, man, to making it a thing.
Some bands can
But
really do like.
I think if everybody in the band has the same level of commitment, it's very doable.
Yeah, like
Sure.
there's some bands that do that really well. Like what's the band I'm thinking of? They're like
Green
Out of-
Day.
no, they're like out of
Canadian?
they're
Blink-182.
they're one of your main. Every Time I Die. Every Time I Die is one of those bands that like I never see them playing any bigger venues than like Opera House,
Yeah.
but every time they play it, it's packed, and they
Yeah.
just know that if they just keep touring and capping out those venues, like it'll always be a success. It'll always
Yeah.
be
It's nuts, man.
yeah. There'll always be like a good
It's a different level of success.
yeah. But then
Exactly.
there's some bands like Bring Me the Horizon who totally changed their sound, and now they're selling out stadiums. Now you look at them and you're like, holy, what? Pray for Plagues selling out, London 02? What's happening here?
It's
Yeah.
it's
Gotta
crazy.
adjust with the times.
In a way, it was a real pipe dream as a kid to be like, I want to make it and be like a big famous musician. And it obviously didn't happen, but it's kind of like, let's just say the Last Sabbath, let's just say example, Last Sabbath record like fucking picked up steam and all these people were onto it, and then like all these people started like knocking on our door and commitment started changing. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen, because like I'm pretty content with a Friday night
Yeah.
in bed stoned watching speed runs. You know what I
And
mean?
even
Like,
though if those kind of opportunities did come knocking at your door, you'd probably want to take them, but to just know how much of like a lifestyle change it would be, there would, you know, it's something hard. It's something.
careful what you wish for, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly. It's like, especially if you're trying to put all these new things into your life to balance. It's like, well, what's more worth it to me, is the balance or like the imbalance?
And even I feel like that 5-year run that bands might take to get to that level of just like, for the next 5 years, all we're doing is touring. And like, yeah, maybe if I was 22 and it started then, that's totally more feasible. But like the hustle and the struggle that the bands do, man, like, hats off. Just like, that's a grind, man.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, like we've never experienced like the whole touring. Like you guys have both experienced tours. Like we've never done a tour ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well,
That's
we
great,
talked
though.
earlier in the podcast about people like bitching about their touring days, and certainly I have too. But like, you know, none of us would ever trade that shit. Now I'm speaking for all of us
Yeah.
somehow.
No,
but
I
like,
wouldn't
I think
either.
it's true. I don't think anybody that ever did tour like that would trade those days for anything else. So as much as they bitch and complain about it, maybe they're kind of doing that just to let you know that they toured back.
Yeah.
It's a way of bragging.
Yeah,
Being
yeah.
all
Yeah,
jaded
exactly.
about it.
It's like, I worked so hard for
hated
this.
it. No, that's
Yeah.
great though. Like to have, kind of talking about comfort levels and like bucket list things and like new things and honeymoon stages. Like when you start dating someone, or even when you start a new band, like that's fucking, that's the best shit.
Or like a new member
Yeah.
comes in the band. Like
Yeah.
even that is like super exciting.
Let's say
yeah.
you guys, the first time you play like New York City or something, like
Yeah.
that in itself would be like, you'll carry that
That's
forever,
huge, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
like,
These firsts.
is there any firsts that resonate with you to this day that's like, man, I wouldn't give that moment for fucking anything? Like, for example, playing in New York City. Like,
I still remember the first time I left my house in the van, the trailer. Like,
wow.
that's, yeah. And I know that's probably kind of a lame example,
No,
but like
that's-
I will always remember
that's
that
pivotal.
feeling of just like, we're going into the great unknown.
Yeah.
Like, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen, but we're doing it,
Yeah.
you know?
I remember we played in the first out of town gig. Well, I don't know, in high school, playing out of town. That was like, we played in the States. We snuck into the border because I grew up in a border town and played this record store, and it was fucking amazing, man. Just to play 4 of our own songs
Wow.
in another city. Yeah. But that shit's like, I don't know. Yeah, obviously we'll never forget it.
Yeah,
And-
I think that's the whole kind of point of that. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just there to not forget. It's those things that when you're going to be, 60, 80, whatever,
If you make it.
If
yeah,
you make it.
but whatever age that is, where you're like, all you have is your memories to think about. Those are the things that are going to keep you.
Sure.
Those are those like last bits of fuel that like keep you going, like alongside, with like having family and like.
And how many firsts can you get in your life? You know what I mean? Like first time playing New York, or first time playing out of town, or first time kissing a girl, or first time, like these first time things. Like you'll never get that back. Because that's like actually part of, with touring now, it's like, I'm in Winnipeg. It's like, I've been here. Like it sucks that it feels that way, but it's like, man, it's just like playing Cambridge for the first time, right? And then now, like, I don't really have a drive to play Cambridge. It's a bit of a bummer that you lose that like first time magic of anything.
But it's interesting you say that, because with Harmony Lunch being closed down and that being kind of one of the only venues that kind of housed like
You really
alternative
like rubbing
shows.
that in, huh?
Well, what I'm trying to say is like, now that that's gone, it's like I want nothing more than to just like, have a friend be like, hey, I'm playing at Harmony Lunch, you want to come out? And me just deciding if I want to go or not. Like, even just that aspect, now that it's gone, is like, it's not a first, but now that there was a last is I think it still has, you know what I mean? Like, the first is something that you can never get, but the last is also something that you can never get. So when you get the last, you're also like,
you'll never
shit.
know when it's the
and,
last.
And for us and Harmony Lunch, like that kind of a week of it closing was that they announced it, right? Like I think it
I don't
was
fucking know.
I think it was like they were closing on like a Thursday or a Friday, and then they announced it on like the Sunday of that week they were closing. It was like everyone, and there was still like a bunch of shows booked, so now those shows have new homes, but the fact that you just can't go get like a Harmony Lunch burger, like you guys have never been there, right?
No.
We played there. Yeah, Group Air played there once. I never ate a burger there. Actually, I did a podcast with Kyle there. That was
Interesting.
yeah, we did it just outside.
Is that where you could hear all the fucking cars passing by?
Yeah, we did on the street.
Yeah, I remember listening.
I don't know why
Cool.
we did it on the street.
Was it just like a mic and just doing this?
No, we had 2 mics. Yeah.
Interesting.
I remember I did a Cult Leader at Maxwell's.
Okay.
Wow.
Have you guys ever checked out Cult Leader? Those guys
No.
are
Those,
heavy
is
as
that an
fuck.
old band too? Or?
not even. They're kind of new.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
they're kind of. Well, they
Cult
were in
Leader.
Gaza and now they're in Cult Leader.
So they played at Maxwell's?
Yeah, and I did a podcast there, but like, if you listen to that, it sucks because there's sound checks happening, and yeah, maybe that's
yeah.
why I did it with Kyle outside because it was at a venue, and I might have learned from that.
I think it was the first time I think it was when you came here for the first time. There was like a band playing next door.
Oh, at some points,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
were terrified of that happening.
Yeah,
at
we've
night.
had that a few times because that's the gamble we play now with pre-recording is now because Tuesday was kind of the most dead day, but now that we're kind of catering to other people's schedules, it's always a gamble of like, is a band going to be recording today?
Mhm.
And usually in post, it's like not the worst, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like the band next door, like they crank the bass to 11 and it's
Sure.
just like,
Yeah.
shaking up the vents. You hear like
Dust
everything
falling from the
rattling. Yeah, you hear
ceiling.
dust falling from the ceiling. It's crazy.
So what are we gonna call this episode? Because it's the Wok Show and Ape
Yeah.
Audio and a bit of Taker Wide.
Taper walk.
Taper Walk. That's pretty
Ooh.
good.
yeah, that was pretty damn good.
Better write that one
For
down,
how
guy.
quick that came out.
Yeah.
You a genius or what, bro?
A little bit. A little bit.
Taper
Yeah,
walk.
Where are we at time wise? How long do you guys
Probably
do this?
over 2
Well,
hours.
I was
No
gonna say this
way.
earlier because it's snowing like a banshee out there.
Is it really?
And,
Yeah,
we
it's
might want to think about
8:43.
that.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck!
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right, well,
Release
maybe
this
let's.
in 4
wrap this.
episodes.
Do you guys want to plug anything? Is there anything you guys want to let the people
Well,
know
yeah.
about?
I'm
Yeah.
only gonna plug one thing, and that's just the podcast. Check out the Wok Show. I interview
At the Wok Show.
artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs, and it's I've had Ian and Patrick, these lovely gentlemen on. I've had Steve Vargas on. Go and check it out. It's Facebook and Instagram, and on all the major platforms.
Yeah, I'm not really doing the podcast. I think it's done.
Oh,
But if you want to go back on old episodes, there's a lot of them with a bunch of rad people. Just takerwide.com for now until the domain expires. And YouTube has a bunch of channels or episodes. And if you give a shit, Grabert Music. No, I think it's Grabert Metal on Facebook, and The Great Sabatini on Facebook. And I think that's it. Yeah.
And if you don't give a shit, like fucking give a shit.
If you don't give a shit, fuck you.
I tried to be more positive, but yeah, I mean that's where I was going initially. But yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for fucking.
Thank you
yeah,
for
thanks so
problem.
much.
Yeah,
caring
thanks for having
about
us on. It was
anything.
fun.
It was
So
awesome.
much fun.
Did you
It-
say thanks for having us on?
Yeah, I did.
It's okay.
Thanks for having us on, guys.
I'll release this
Yeah,
as the
well-
last Taker Wide episode.
yeah, come by and we'll do it again. And same
Yeah.
with you, Vargs.
If I'm still allowed in the
Fuck
club.
yeah.
This is like
Oh,
the
fuck
elite
yeah.
No, you're
podcast
out
club.
of the club.
You're always-
it's
you're
the
always in the
Taper
club.
Walk Club,
Yeah.
man.
I'll have the frazzled like ID card. Like, does this still work? Get out of here, old man.
All right.
Yeah.
Fucking see you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.